what happened?
Ken, I don't know. That was like 2007.
I know, sorry.
Forte Sampson, nice move. Gary Brooks was there and nudged him just off his mark, and Sampson there, and Meola with one big paw makes the save. Again, Meola. That sequence brought probably the second biggest ovation of the night. The first was for Pele. Forte Sampson again, and Meola with a save.
Hi again, everyone. Welcome back to Soccer Rewind, the channel that puts the retro in retrospective. I'm your host, Ken Tomash. Every week, we're going to take a look at a vintage American soccer game and talk to someone with a connection to that game. Could be a player, a coach, a broadcaster, a writer, a historian. And we use the benefit of hindsight to get insight into the teams, games, and moments that shaped our soccer history. This week, we're going back indoors, and we're talking about the greater New York City area, which has had an uneven history with the indoor game. Of course, the New York Arrows, who will pop up from time to time on this channel, were the first indoor dynasty, and they played on Long Island. There was a one-year wonder in the Meadowlands, the New Jersey Rockets in the MISL. The Cosmos, of course, were legendary outdoors. Not so much indoors, but they did play for the 1984 NASL Indoor Championship. That is also a story for another day on this channel. If you want to include Connecticut in the tri-state area, the Hartford Hellions were a short-lived MISL team as well. And the New York Express folded mid-season in early 1987, their one and only season in the MISL. Since then, the only indoor team in greater New York has been the New Jersey Ironmen, who played in Newark from 2007 to 2009 in the second MISL and the Extreme Soccer League. And that's where we're going to go this week. We're going to rewind to December 1st, 2007, and the home opener for the Ironmen against the Detroit Ignition. And we have two goalies to help us out and help us rewind. They've had two different perspectives on this game. One was in the broadcast booth, and the other was in the nets. Sal Rosamilia was an all-Ivy League and all-American goalkeeper at Columbia University and a pro with the Fort Lauderdale Strikers of the APSL, also an outstanding broadcast analyst. And the other was also an All-American at the University of Virginia, the Herman Award winner, an original in Major League Soccer where he played for his hometown New York Red Bulls and the Metro Stars, as well as Kansas City. He also won 100 caps for the U.S. national team. And oh, by the way, is a National Soccer Hall of Famer. You already guessed it. Of course, yes, it is Tony Meola. Welcome, gentlemen, to both of you today to Soccer Rewind.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
I want to thank Tony, by the way, since we were the same grade. I want to thank him for leaving college and going to play in a World Cup early, so I had a chance to become an All-American later on.
Good move. Yeah. What are friends for, right?
You're welcome, I guess, right, Sal?
That's what I was going to. This first question is, how long have you guys known each other? I mean, here are two 14-year-old 6-foot freshmen at Kearney High. You guys go back even farther than that, right?
Yeah, sure. So we lived about a block and a half away from each other, around the corner, basically. But we were separated by train tracks in Kearney. So the separation was where the grammar schools were separated. So even though we lived about a block and a half away, we never had a chance to go to school together till junior high, 7th and 8th grade. So oftentimes we'd be, pitted against each other, as younger guys. So there was, maybe a bit of a rivalry / respect. And then once we got to junior high and we were able to become teammates and classmates, I would say 7th grade, the friendship really, we started playing CYO basketball together, football together, chance to play soccer together. So there's, I would say, where the friendship really started to take hold. I would say at 12.
And Tony, is it true that in high school you moved to forward and Sal played goalie and you scored a bunch of goals?
Yeah, well, it's a weird story. It was our senior year, and we had a pretty good team. And Sal and I basically switched halves for 3 seasons. And I don't know if it was a week before the season or maybe a couple days before the season. Our star center forward had gotten into a car accident and was out for a while. And our head coach, Mr. Miller, who is a legendary coach in New Jersey, and he basically had us in a group, and he's like, "Oh, we're looking for a center forward." And I was like, "Oh, I'll do it." It didn't sound like a good thing to do at the time. And we knew obviously we were covered in goal, and we didn't really. It was almost a waste to have the two of us just continue to do that. So Mr. Miller agreed to give me an opportunity, and we figured it out. And it actually became important down the road, having that chance to play with my feet, which I hadn't really done prior to that. Of course, like every other youth soccer player, you play in the field, but I mean, at any level, I hadn't done it before. So it helped me, as my career went on, because I think if there was one area that I was probably a little bit more proficient than some other, it was playing with my feet. Yeah, it all started with me just raising my hand and saying, I'd love to do something a little bit different.
Oh,
Wow.
Here's a little later in high school. No doubt you guys were big men on campus, right?
Well, big as far as tall, probably, right? We're tall.
Soccer's a big deal in Kearney, though. You guys had to be well regarded in high school because soccer was a big deal. It still is.
Yeah, that's freshman year. We had on the first floor, conveniently right outside the cafeteria. So we were able to eat in the morning. We were able to eat fourth, fifth, and sixth period during lunches. That was helpful for two growing boys at the time.
And I love this one with a third Jersey guy, though he's 2 years older than you guys, and he went to
Wow.
Columbia High in Maplewood, about 20 minutes away. Actor and sometime soccer player Andrew Shue on the left. Did you guys know Andrew in high school, or did that come later?
Yeah. Where'd you get this picture? He's got, it looks like a Brazil jacket on. Is that
Doesn't it?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when we did the kids sport television right after the earthquake in California. We went out.
That's right.
Did a show with him. But yeah, we knew him. Tony tells the story better, right? He was a part of the Columbia. You said he was older than us, so I don't know if it was our freshman year or our sophomore year, but we ended up coming up against Columbia High School, which was a big rival at the time with Kearney, right? Tony mentioned that Mr. Miller, our coach, was a legend, and Coach Chisowitz was a legend with Columbia High School. And they had great teams and great players through the years, and we played Shue in that Columbia team, right? What was their record before we played them, Tony?
I think they were 24-0, right, or something.
Right.
They were undefeated, 22-0, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the state semifinals, and then after the game, what was their record, Tony? Remember?
20-something and 1. That's, yeah, whatever it was, it would add a 1 at the end of it.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, we loved rubbing that into Andrew's face for a while after that. So
Good one. And now there were some serious hairstyles going on as we talked about. This is Sal as
Wow.
a Fort Lauderdale striker in between tapings of Wayne's World, I'm guessing.
that's right around the time of the taping of the thing with Shue.
Not so much today. And everybody has seen Tony with the national team and an MLS, but maybe not everybody has seen you. Here's here when you were playing for the Long Island Rough Riders of what was then the USISL, 1995 national champions with a stacked team. Gio Savarese was on that team, Jim Rooney, lots of guys on that team. You really had a lot, but you were going with the ponytail by that point, not the mullet, right, Tony?
Yeah, it was a lot easier to grow hair back then, for both of us, as you can see. Hair. I hate the internet because my kids are constantly pulling these things up all the time. And on my birthday, my youngest will go and send in our family chat all the different hairstyles. But yeah, look, it was. I'd like to think that at one point the mullet was cool. It was in. Yeah,
I would still have it if I could.
And here, of course, obviously in 94, we talked about World Cup fever was all, maybe even dance fever too, might have been part of this as well. Not quite sure. And then
see, I remember that one. That one I remember.
And then we fast forward to 2007, and this is the game that we're going to be talking about here. When Sal got to interview OU on the SNY telecast, he was still playing, and Sal was up in the booth with me. Good times for everybody. So we talked about this, but tell me about what soccer, it's obviously a huge part of the community where you grew up. What does it mean both historically and to the people of the Kearney area?
When we grew up, soccer was the cool thing to do. It wasn't, it wasn't like we thought it was like that all around the country, but it clearly wasn't like that all around the country. But in Kearney, like if you didn't play soccer, you weren't hanging out with the cool kids. And there were a lot of cool kids in Kearney because everybody played, right? And it was a meeting place. There's since it's been documented, the courts in Kearney where we used to go down and play and kick the crap out of each other, and it didn't matter if you were 11 years old or you were 40 years old. Everybody was playing on the same courts, and it was next team on all the time, and that's it's kind of all we knew, to be honest. That's what kept us out of trouble. That's what kept us entertained. We didn't we didn't have phones and video games, and so that's where the love of the game came from, was hanging out with your friends, going there, screaming and yelling at something that might have happened on the field in a game you were watching. Like it was just so it was such a great place to grow up. It was but again, it was the only thing we knew, and we thought the rest of America was like that because we lived in a bubble. But clearly it wasn't like that.
Back to indoor for just a second. Obviously the Arrows were on Long Island. Indoor was not great, was never great in the New York area. Sal, what did you think when you heard we got this new building in Newark? These couple of rich guys are going to put an indoor team in the Prudential Center. What did you think?
How do I get involved? I knew Tony had mentioned it, ahead of time. So he was in pretty much probably the third or fourth guy to even know that this was happening. So soon after that, I was, and he's like, look, I'll keep my eyes open. I'll keep my ears open. And I remember one day he called me. He's like, hey, come on over to Prudential Center. I want you to talk to a couple of guys. Tony Meola was the GM, at the time. I said, I just want to be involved, right? This is a great opportunity. I'm still involved in the game. My kids, and this started, I think, in 2006. You mentioned the seasons were 07, 09, but the groundwork was starting in 06. So my daughter is, 8 years old, 7 years old, and my son is, 4 years old. The ages that I started to love and appreciate the game. And I'm like, what a great opportunity if I can somehow be involved. So I went over there, there were no jobs to be had. They're like, we always need somebody who can help selling tickets. So that was my initial job with the Ironmen, was commissions on trying to sell season ticket packages and doing that. But it was my way of getting in the door and being part of it. And then, when staff and players started to be announced, Omid hired Stuart Dobson as the goalkeeper coach, but he was traveling from, way down South Jersey or Philly, I forget where, but he had a 2-hour commute. So he was only going to come up 2 days a week to train Tony. So I wormed my way in there. Listen, man, if Tony and I have a history of experience together, I think I could do a decent job getting him prepared. It doesn't make sense to only have a goalkeeper coach 2 days a week. So, they're like, all right, Dave Stewart's not here. You're our goalkeeper / ticket sales guy. And then when they announced that they were going to be doing broadcasts, they're like, they talked about in the office. Can anybody have experience doing this? Well, yeah, sort of. I had a show when I was playing with the Fever in the USISL. I had a national show on Sports Channel, hosting a soccer show. So I'm like, yeah, put my hand up on that one too. And, and that's how obviously you and I met on that first night.
That's right. And Tony, obviously, it sounds like the opportunity not only to play in your hometown, but also to get some front office experience was a key factor in why you decided to go back and play indoor again after 13 years after you'd first played with the Buffalo Blizzard, right?
Yeah, and I only played about 2 months with the Buffalo team, and that was only supposed to be 4 games. And it just kind of kept getting extended because we were selling out arenas everywhere that we went. So they were like, can you stay a little bit longer? And I ended up loving playing indoor, of course, but it wasn't my forte. I think I sucked at it when I was in Buffalo. I just enjoyed playing it, right? So, it was something that was fun. It was something that was different. It was something that kept me going in the winter months, which, of course, when you live in the Northeast is really hard to train. But for me, it was more about learning the office stuff in the beginning, and then as the season got closer, you start getting excited, right? Because you're going to play again, and you're going to compete, and athletes want to compete. So those juices get flowing. But I knew early on that this was happening. I knew Omid was going to be the coach. Omid was a teammate of mine. So he became my coach after he was a teammate, and then I was his assistant coach oddly enough, for about 4.5 years with the youth national teams, with the U18 youth national team at US Soccer. So that relationship really went like sort of full circle, and still a dear friend today. So that's how it started. He called me and said, "Look, this is happening here. The owners, Jeff Vanderbeek and Mike Gilfillan, want to bring you in." And I was like, "Well, I'm living in Kansas. We had a really nice life. I was just done playing. Kansas is a great place to raise your family, but and I had just gotten done a couple years prior with the Red Bulls, Metro Stars that turned into the Red Bulls, and I thought I was going to stay in Kansas. We loved the lifestyle there, and my wife and I started talking, and we said, "Well, you never really know if you're going to get back home, right? Parents are getting older. You never, not often do you end your career back home. So some guys are lucky to do that, but the odds are you're not going to." And this was an opportunity, but then there was a lot of things. So I called and I said, "Well, I came to New Jersey in the summer before that started, and I went to Jeff Vanderbeek's beach house on the water in Lavalette, and we sat on the porch, and he said, "Okay, what are the obstacles?" And I said, "Well, I got to move my family." He goes, "Don't worry about that." I said, "Man, I got this house I got to sell." He's like, "Don't worry about that." They literally bought my house in Kansas and kept it for like 6 months before they could sell it. So it was really like something that happened quick, and I knew that they wanted me there, and that was important, right? That's important for anybody, and I knew that they would make it easy on me, and that's how the whole thing happened. Sitting on his deck, finalizing a deal, and then getting to New Jersey, and ultimately, I don't know how many that were there opening night. I was also selling tickets for that game. Like I was learning everything in the office that I could learn, because I thought that might be a place. Well, it's good to have in your resume, but I thought that might be a place that I ended up down the road. But yeah, I loved playing there. It was that season was so much fun.
So first 4 games on the road, you won 3 of them. You come back then for this home opener, which is the game we're going to look at here in a second. 13,000 plus announced in the building. What was that like? It must have been surreal for you guys. You're at home, you're back home where you grew up, packed house, an icon of the game is on hand. You're playing, you're broadcasting in front of the home folks. What was that like? Sal, you go first.
It was a dream, like, absolute dream come true. Growing up, if anybody asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, it was a professional soccer player, a professional baseball player. I had a chance to do that. Well, what are you going to do after your career is over? I want to be a broadcaster. I didn't know how to go about doing it. But that was, what I told everybody. Those were my dreams. And then, actually have it many, many years later, as you mentioned, in our backyard with our families there, our friends there. And interviewing my best friend after the game. It was a moment that I'll never forget, and really couldn't, in my wildest dreams as a kid, saying this is what I wanted to do, never thought I'd have an opportunity to do that.
And it seemed like all the stars aligned for you as well, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, it got me back home, right? And for me, I still want to be a professional soccer player. Unfortunately, Father Time has kicked my butt. But yeah, I never thought about anything else. And this was the culmination. Like I said, for me, going home was really, really important. And then to do it with a bunch of people, and Sal included. You showed that picture earlier. Your best friend is living out one of his dreams, while his best friend is also living out one of their dreams. And you're standing on this field together, which was really, really cool. Sal talks about that night. He probably, I mean, you guys would know better than I would, but I used the word mayhem a little bit earlier. You guys know better than I. Like, they gave you a script that night and a timeline, and that timeline didn't really work out. And Sal was telling me the other day, he's like, "Man, I just remember, like, holy cow, I was new to this gig, and now I got to vamp for like 20 minutes because Pele won't get off the field, and all these people are there, and like your whole timeline is shot, and you're just making stuff up." And then I work in radio, so I know we've got to do that sometimes. So you guys would be able to tell that story better, but I thought it was funny because you don't realize it when you're down there normally. But I realized it that night. I was like, "Geez, can we just start the game here? Like, we want to play." I think we had played a couple games prior to that, so it wasn't our opening. It was our opening home night.
Right.
Yeah, at some point you just want to play the game. I know it's great. Everyone's here, man. Let's kick a ball. Like, let's do something. And that's the night was mayhem. Was a good. I mean, there were places we could walk in there. We couldn't walk in underneath the tunnel because certain people were coming, and like things that don't happen normally. In general, players and staff, they have the run of the building, right? Like you can go anywhere, but this was like really, really weird. I was like, hope this isn't like this every night. Like we just want to get going. But a fun night nonetheless.
That it was. And you will see some of the mayhem here as we, and the extended pregame ceremonies, which we'll show you here as we get ready to rewind to the first half of this game, the night of December 1st, 2007 at the Prudential Center in downtown Newark, New Jersey. It's the Ironmen against the Detroit Ignition. And Sal and yours truly had the call on Sportsnet New York. We'll be back at halftime.
The Detroit Ignition was firing on all cylinders last night as they beat the previously undefeated Baltimore Blast. Tonight, they provide the opposition for the historic home opener for the New Jersey Ironmen, an expansion side that has forged a 3-1 record so far in the young season. The excitement of the Major Indoor Soccer League returns to the metropolitan area tonight. It's the Ignition, it's the Ironmen, and it's next on SNY. Live from the Prudential Center in downtown Newark, New Jersey, the Major Indoor Soccer League returns. Jersey Ironmen play their historic home opener against last year's league runner-ups, the Detroit Ignition. Good evening, everybody. I'm Ken Tomash, along with Sal. Sal, we've got a great game tonight. New Jersey has really surprised a lot of people with this 3-1 start as an expansion side. Coach Omid Namazi has put together a terrific team.
He has. He's two-time MISL Coach of the Year, and if you'd asked him before the first 4 games of this season if they would be 3-1, I think if he was honest, he said more likely they'd be 1-3. So the team has gotten off to a great start, and this is a battle for first place tonight.
Sal Rosamilia will work with me tonight. Detroit, on the other hand, comes in having played last night. They beat Detroit, or they won at home, beating the previously unbeaten Baltimore Blast last night. Now they got to travel, come to a place they've never played before against a rested team, and they're without one of their star players, league MVP Jamar Beasley.
Yeah, no doubt that's going to hurt. The last time these two teams played as well, it was a back-to-back situation for Detroit. Their only loss this year is to the Ironmen, so it'll be interesting to see how they come out today. Definitely something that puts them behind the 8 ball to start.
Well, if Detroit proved one thing, it's that you can put a team together in a short period of time and be competitive. Last year as an expansion team, they finished first in the regular season in the league with an 18-12 record before falling to the Philadelphia Kicks in the league championship game. They put a great team together through the expansion draft, and Omid Namazi really went out and identified a lot of guys. He got some of that Brazilian flair, but he got some Jersey guys too. How have they really come together?
Well, they've come together great, surprisingly a little quicker than anybody has expected. Omid's one goal here is to win a championship. He said that when he signed on, and he's put players together that can win it. The thing that's, again, surprising is how quickly they've come together, because less than half the team has ever played indoor soccer before. So the start they've gotten off to is amazing.
Meanwhile, Detroit, as we mentioned, they're going to be without league MVP Jamar Beasley, who has a hamstring pull that limited his play last night, but they've still got a bunch of the people who helped them go 18-12 a year ago. Whether they can come back on the second night of a back-to-back against a really tough and really fired-up New Jersey squad is something that we're going to have to see. A little bit different look for the MISL this year, as we have 9 franchises in the U.S. and Mexico, with the addition of the Orlando Sharks, Monterrey La Raza, and these New Jersey Ironmen. And right now it looks like the Ironmen are the best of the bunch.
Well, the Ironmen for sure, Detroit Ignition, Baltimore Blast, and the Chicago Storm, all with 1 loss. So I think it's going to be very competitive the entire time. And even though Detroit is without Jamar Beasley, there's no lack of stars on that team. You got Everton, Ricardinho, Jonathan Greenfield. Plenty of stars still to come, and the Ironmen, I hear, might be without Kevin Sloan, one of their top players as well.
This obviously a battle for first place in the league tonight. It's very competitive. As we said, 9 teams in the league this year. 6 of them will make the playoffs, but it's going to be all important to go after those first 2 spots, because they'll get first-round byes into the playoffs. It's going to be a huge night here tonight at the Prudential Center in downtown Newark. The great Pele will be making an appearance shortly. He'll also join us at halftime, and a lot of people here in the Newark area are really fired up about the return of indoor soccer.
Yeah, the place is rocking. We'll see later on. It's going to be a full house, 18,000 strong. everybody's excited. The game is being delayed right now because there's all sorts of stuff going on in the field that you can probably hear in the background. Very exciting. There's a late arriving crowd that we're just trying to fill everybody in and get them into the seats. But some people to look for the Ironmen. We talked about some of the Detroit players. There's certainly no lack of stars with the Ironmen team, led by Tony Meola, I feel the all-time greatest goalkeeper the United States has ever produced.
How has he adjusted back to the indoor game? You know, he began his career obviously in Buffalo in the NPSL before he joined Major League Soccer. Now he's come back home and come back indoors. How's he made that adjustment?
He's a professional. You know, for him, goalkeeping, this game is kind of made for him at this point in his career. Goal's a little bit smaller. He fills the goal extremely well. What I mean by that is there's no holes in his game. He covers upper corners, lower corners, everything extremely well. He's really brought a professional attitude to the team. The Ironmen are lucky to have him. I think it was a tremendous signing because they have a lot of young players, but his professional experience has really helped bring them together, and especially the defense. You know, Omid Namazi was Defensive Player of the Year in his day and has won a championship as a player and as a coach, and he knows championships are won with defense, and Tony Meola has done a great job in shoring up that defense, as a lot of these players, half of them have never played indoor, as I have mentioned, and none of these players on the roster have ever played indoor soccer together prior to these last 4 games.
So there is a bit of a learning curve to deal with, but it's fortunate for Coach Namazi that he has a leader like a Tony Meola. Now this team has had 2 weeks off since its last game. What have they been doing in that time?
Well, they've been working on some of the things that they've been struggling with. One against the 6th attacker, which I think the Ironmen are hopeful we see later on in the game because that means they'll be winning.
Without further ado, let's go down to the field for the pregame ceremonies.
Boys and girls, at this time, please welcome the owners of the New Jersey Ironmen, Jeff Vanderbeek and Michael Gilfillan. With Sunil Gulati, President of the United States Soccer Federation, and Steve Ryan, Commissioner of the Major Indoor Soccer League. He played his last game a little more than 30 years ago in New Jersey after leading the New York Cosmos to the 1977 Soccer Bowl championship. He led Brazil to 3 World Cup championships and scored an astounding 1,281 goals in his remarkable career. He's a worldwide ambassador for soccer and for peace. Let's all welcome back to New Jersey the honorary captain for tonight's inaugural game, the King, Pele!
Thank you. Obrigado, muchas gracias. Es una alegría muy grande para mí estar aquí. I feel very happy to be here in this moment. It's like I was, one of the players from today. Thank you for your love. Muchas gracias por todo el amor, por todo el cariño. Y yo espero que este estadio aquí traga mucha alegría a todos ustedes y que tenemos muchos excelentes juegos aquí. I hope everything we get here will be a very nice show, very nice game. And then thank you very much for the beautiful welcome. I love you all. Te amo. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Vanderbeek and Michael Gilfillan will now present an original oil painting entitled Pele, Legend and Hero, created by renowned Los Angeles-based artist Samantha Wendell of Sports and the Arts. And now the portrait. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's have one more big round of applause for Pele. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, at this time we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Singing the anthem this evening from Newark Arts High School, please welcome Rendition.
So proudly beheld at the twilight's last gleaming, whose touch and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we were so gallantly streaming, and the Rockies' regulars were bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Let's have a big hand for Rendition. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please clear the field immediately. Once again, those who participated on field before the game, please clear the field immediately. Thank you.
It's a festive and historic night here at the Prudential Center in downtown Newark. And the fans are all fired up by the appearance of Pele and for their first home game for their new indoor soccer team, the New Jersey Ironmen. They're trying desperately to clear the field. Well, I don't know. Sal, you tell me. I think that man has drawn a crowd everywhere he's been for about the last 50 years of his life. So they're not going to get to start this thing anytime soon with all the people that want to just be near him.
That's exactly right. I mean, I saw a few people jumping over the boards to try to touch him.
There's a great moment as one of the great icons of soccer and one of the great icons of American soccer embrace at midfield. Tony Meola, the goalkeeper who has returned to his roots in New Jersey. Pele, who some 32 years ago came to this area with the star-studded New York Cosmos and really jump-started American soccer himself. Meola and company, John Harkes, those guys, Eric Winalda, picked up that torch and carried it the rest of the way. And if they hadn't, we wouldn't be having this conversation here tonight, but we wouldn't be playing in great arenas like this and watching outstanding soccer, both indoor and outdoor, in this country. The ceremonial first kick. And who wouldn't want to say that they...
You think he's going to let him score?
Who wouldn't want to say that they caught something that Pele had kicked. Tony Meola did the honors, and another scrum as people try to make sure that they're in this picture. It's opening night in New Jersey as the New Jersey Ironmen face the Detroit Ignition in major indoor soccer league action. Pele will not be the only star in the building tonight. Both of these teams are fired up and ready to go, and we'll be back with lineups in the kickoff after this. Stay with us.
Season tickets are on sale now for the Devils' inaugural season at Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. For more information, visit NewJerseyDevils.com or call 1-800-NJ-DEVIL today.
This Friday, get ready for fast, explosive, non-stop action.
A goal is scored.
Major Indoor Soccer League. A game like no other, with a high-scoring environment. Played under the rooftop. Live the excitement of Major Indoor Soccer League. This Friday, only on FSC.
Back at the Prudential Center in downtown Newark, ready for kickoff between the New Jersey Ironmen and the Detroit Ignition. Ken Tomash along with Sal Rosamilia tonight. Here's Tony Meola, just one of the stars on these two teams. He will have Lazo Alavagna, Donald Gray in front of him. He'll have Juninho da Silva in the midfield and Sean David and Federico Mugin up front. Danny Waltman, meanwhile, is the goalkeeper for the Detroit Ignition, who, as we told you, played last night and beat Baltimore at home. He'll have Matt Johnson and Drew Callahan in front of him on defense to start the game. Mike Apple, the target man up front. Zay Roberto in the midfield. And Ryan Mack, the other midfielder.
Ken, in talking with head coach Omid Damazi of the Ironmen, he stressed the last 2 weeks at training getting off to a quick start for the Ironmen, because in their 4 games, that's been a bit of a problem.
They're underway. Detroit in the white jerseys with the black shorts, attacking from right to left. This is Drew Callahan clearing it out of his zone. And the Ironmen are in the kind of reddish and orange tops and the white shorts. This is Zay Roberto, one of many Brazilians we'll see tonight for both of these teams. Zay Roberto plays it up to Mike Apple. Apple, Topo trying to get it over to the far side, but it's cleared away by Lazo Alavagna, the Ironmen's captain. Here's Matt Johnson, a little tricky in the back. He'll play it nicely off the board. Zay Roberto will clear, not quite as well as he wanted to. Ryan Mack has his pocket picked by Juninho at midfield. Juninho plays it back to Gray. Again, if you're not familiar with the indoor game, 5 field players and a goalie on each side, and they will change on the fly, much like hockey. So we'll see players running in and out. They'll play short shifts, 45 seconds to a minute. Here's Gary Brooks over in the far corner. Brooks looking for Daniel Antoniuk down low, but Zay Roberto playing tough defense on him, and Zay Roberto comes away with the ball. To Callahan. Drew Callahan is the Ignition captain.
I think the Ironmen are hoping to have Waltman, the goalkeeper for the Ignition, with the ball at his feet often tonight, and I think they're going to try to exploit that if they can.
Not as comfortable with the ball at his feet as, say, Tony Meola is. Here with his hands, he comes up throwing. He was looking for Josh Reif, but Gary Brooks intercepted it for New Jersey.
Waltman last night against the Blast actually had an assist on a similar play.
Now Mauricio Salas plays it back to Tony Meola. Jonathan Greenfield in there. It's a collision at the edge of the box, an open net and a chance, but it's cleared away.
Yeah, you'll see Meola get involved, crossing that yellow line.
And almost a mistake there, and Everton almost made him pay. Now Everton goes off. He looks like he took a hit in the face or something. He comes off, but Meola played that out to him, and he tried to catch him off his line. Slides that one across in front of the goal. Here's Jonathan Greenfield for Detroit. Lays it into space where Gordon Question picks it up. Stefan Stokic will toe poke it here to Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson's filling in as a target player tonight for the Ironmen. Kevin Sloan, one of their targets, pulled a calf muscle this week. Johnson's normally a defender.
Here's Janino. Sends it across. The shot is saved by Waltman.
Great save, good start for Waltman.
Mujin with the big shot. Another Brazilian. Now there's a scrum down to the corner as everyone tries to get that ball out of there. And Josh Reif has it now for Detroit. Out to midfield where it's picked off by Mateus dos Santos.
Well, 3 minutes in, and we've already seen 2 great chances, one for each side.
But no score as of yet. Don't worry, that'll change before too long. The indoor game, a very high-scoring version of soccer. Lazo Alavanya trying to back down his man, tries the back heel. Dos Anjos puts it off the wall. Shot just missed. Goran Vasic with the miss. There another shot missed high off the glass. And a handball called by senior referee Kevin Terry.
That was a great play there by Mujin. Receiving the ball in a triple threat position at the top of the arc. He could do 3 things, and they're all dangerous when he gets the ball with his back to the goal. He can turn, have a go himself. He can hold it for runners attacking the box, and he can hold it if he's double teamed. He can knock it out for a 3-point shot. And you saw something very dangerous come off that play there by Mujin.
Mike Apple stripped to the ball there, and Mujin has it, but he goes down. See Apple with the distinctive hairstyle. Now they'll find Gary Brooks here along the near side. Tried to find Sean David, but it was read well by Zay Roberto, who stepped in and won the ball away. We'll send it across to Apple. Apple muscled off the ball by his opposite number, Daniel Antoniak.
Square balls in the midfield, you see, are very dangerous if they're not pulled off. Counterattacks are.
Now Detroit will play it back. That was Nate Kraft, member of last year's all-rookie team, going back to Waltman. Now they play it up to Ryan Mack. Mack with Alavanya on him. 2 former Indiana University players going 1v1. Mack sends a left footer off the glass. Antoniak will have it in the far corner. And Meola, there we see, he's very comfortable with his feet. But Francois picks it off for Detroit. Now it's Ryan Mack with some space. Francois just inside. He'll have a go and miss wide right. Drew Callahan played it nicely to himself back off the boards. His shot is blocked by Gary Brooks.
Ironmen need to start finding their marks in the defensive third. It's a must to play man-to-man defense, and right now they're starting to scramble around.
No score, less than 5 minutes in. Danny Waltman now, the ignition keeper, with the ball at his feet to Drew Callahan, and that shot goes off, or his attempted pass goes off Ryan Johnson and out. A lucky bounce for Detroit. 10:09 to play, first quarter. Live from the Prudential Center in Newark, it's the New Jersey Ironmen's home opener against the Detroit Ignition here on SNY. Here's Stefan Stokic for New Jersey to Ryan Johnson. Lays it off beautifully in front, nobody there. Stokic was there actually, but the problem was too many people were there. Johnson with a right footer off the boards, cleared by Matt Johnson. Everton heads it back in for Detroit to Ricardinho. Ryan Johnson will try it again, but he's got company down in that corner. Tries to get between Drew Callahan and the board. Stokic has it now for New Jersey. Gordon Question toe pokes it over to Matthew Mayer.
You see the Ironmen able to change here on their possession. Detroit was not. They've been on too long, and the Ironmen are going to look to try to exploit that with some fresh players now.
But first a whistle here, and Kevin Terry steps in to try to restore order as things may have just gotten a little bit heated. There you see Matthew Mayer. He's another Jersey guy from Cape May.
And we mentioned before, Ryan Johnson's normally a defender for the Ironmen, but he was leading goal scorer career-wise for his college, so he's certainly capable of playing up top.
Oregon State, where the Jamaican went to college. Nice tackle there by Drew Callahan. It's intercepted though by Dos Anjos. Goran Vasic misplayed that one. Here's Asadpour, and he is fouled there. It'll be a free kick as Vahid Asadpour gets tripped up there and fouled. Free kick. A little bit farther out than you'd like, but
well, with Ricardinho on the field and on top of this ball with Everton in the box, this is certainly in a dangerous enough area.
Ricardinho slides it across. Callahan off the mark. Quickly clear. Dos Anjos is stripped of the ball though. Taken right back by Klestion for New Jersey. Here's Juninho on the run. Mužin with a shot off the boards. Callahan has it on the far side for Detroit, but he's marked there by Goran Vasic. You see pressure. Both teams are really ramping up the defensive pressure, Sal. There's a lot of wall-to-wall and end-to-end defensive pressure.
You can't be effective in the indoor game if you're not high pressure all over the field. That's why 45 seconds at a time is the most they should be out there.
Josh Reif will send this one high. Vorte Sampson has it go off his head and right into the able and capable hands of Tony Meola. We see Detroit is in white and the New Jersey Ironmen in red and Tony Meola in all black. Here's Gary Brooks, speedster. Dos Anjos taps it here to Sean David, another guy with speed and a shot to goal! Gary Brooks, the first home goal in Ironman history, and it's 2-0.
And that play was created by Brooks going off the boards, ends up collecting it himself and putting it in. And with the high pressure that we've spoke of, man-to-man all over the defensive third, if you're not using the boards to your advantage, you're not going to be very successful.
Waltman, no chance. And that's Brooks's second goal of the campaign.
You know, it might be too easy to say with them playing last night and traveling today, but there looked like there were some tired legs chasing that ball in the box there.
Hey, you can have rested legs, and sometimes it's hard to keep up with that man, Gary Brooks, as teams have no doubt found out in this league before, and we'll find out again this season. We'll be back. It's 2-0 Ironmen after this. New Jersey leads it 2-0, and if you're wondering, they only scored 1 goal. How do they have 2 points? If you're new to the indoor game, natural goals are 2 points, but as you'll see a 3-point arc. You see it there. Anything from outside that 45-foot arc is a 3-point goal. So we have 2 and 3-point goals tonight. That one by Gary Brooks was a 2-pointer, and that's why the New Jersey Ironmen are on top 2-0, about halfway through the first quarter of play. 4 15-minute quarters here in the Major Indoor Soccer League.
A dream start for the Ironmen. They've been stressing in training for the last 2 weeks, getting off to a quick start. It's been a problem, and this has to settle them down a little bit.
Terrific build-up, and Gary Brooks started and finished that play and deserves the goal. Here's Francois with Daniel Antoniuk all over him, running him into the boards. Comes out of there with it. We'll play it here to Kit Celadopoulos. He'll bounce it off the near boards, looking for Jonathan Greenfield, who touches it off to Zay Roberto. Nice ball through to Apple, and Apple has Gordon Klestion all over him. Goes down, no call. Celadopoulos with a shot off the boards. Here's Mauricio Salas now.
Apple's down, holding his knee.
Gets up slowly. This is a new turf here, obviously, but there are boards underneath it and ice underneath that. The New Jersey Devils played here last night. We got another handball called, and Ryan Johnson can't believe it, but Kevin Terry whistled him for it. But yes, Mike Apple, who has played this indoor game for a while, but when you played the night before, again, and the travel and everything else, it can take its toll on you, especially when you're getting hammered the way he was down in that corner.
And he was the Ignition best player last night against Baltimore. 2 goals, really a dominating target.
Nate Kraft plays it back to Danny Waltman. Kraft with Johnson on him. And Ricardinho had his pocket picked by Juninho, and now he's fouled from behind, and that'll set up a free kick for New Jersey. Just outside the yellow line, which is 50 feet from goal. And here's where Goran Vasic stars, Sal, right?
Yeah, he's an indoor veteran of 11 seasons, and he's going to be on all restarts as much as he can. And you'll see he can hit it from here, but really what he's going to try to do is set up Juninho with a right-footed shot in the center of the goal, or Gordon Klishkin along the boards here, who's left-footed.
He's also got Donald Gray as a target. Oh, trying to get it over to Gray. It was intercepted. Vasic with a left footer. Kicked out of there by Matt Johnson. So that set piece goes awry. New Jersey still leads it 2-0. It'll go over the head of Assad Pour down in the corner. And he draws a crowd as well. Klishkin gives him a chest bump. Out to Matt Johnson.
Juninho right now is marking in the box on Everton, and I don't think that's a matchup the Ironmen really want.
Everton is a big, strong player, a goal scorer. Here's Ricardinho, a guy just like that, down to Drew Callahan. Definitely played off the boards, but Meola comes out to clear. You will not see Tony Meola just stay back in his area or on his line, will you?
No, he's very comfortable coming off his line, and as an indoor goalkeeper, that's a huge advantage for the Ironmen.
Well, remember, in his high school days, he played goalkeeper for a couple years and then switched to forward as a senior and scored 33 goals.
I had a good view of those 33 goals.
It's a Kearney guy just like yourself. Here's Sean David. Almost run into the boards over there. Stops and turns on a dime, and you see the skill that led Omid Namazi to go and get this guy as his first acquisition, Sean David. The shot went high and wide, though.
Tremendous indoor player, Sean is.
Here's Doug Rice now on the far side. His right-footed shot comes off the glass, and Meola played that one as if he'd been playing the indoor game his whole life. Just came right into his hands.
Again, positionally, Meola was one of the best outdoors, and it took him about 3 days, 3 practices to get the angles down on the boards.
Rife trying to get that one away from Mauricio Salas, who plays it back to Lazo Alavagna. Salas now, as the pace has slowed just a little bit. We've got 4:12 to go in the first quarter. The first 6 or 7 minutes of this one were really played at a high pace. Now it's slowed down just a touch.
The Ironmen don't mind it being slow as long as they're in possession of the ball. With the Ignition playing last night, if they can possess and have the Ignition chase, this is a game that's going to set up well for them.
Morte Sampson took too much time there, and he was dispossessed, and Alavagna flicks it out here. Stefan Stokic, who's got some space to run. Mujin send that one across. Zay Roberto got all 5'7" of them got the head on that one. You see Morte Sampson heading off to the bench.
We haven't seen Apple come back yet, and that's going to be a real problem for the Ignition if he's not able to.
He's got ice on that right knee on the bench. Celadopoulos with a shot and a save by Meola. And he corrals the rebound. Now he'll distribute long. Chested by Juninho.
For those fans sitting in the area where there is no glass in the first row.
And that one is sent high and over the glass by Lazo Alavagna of New Jersey. It'll be a kick-in for Detroit.
Now, that may have looked like it was just a lumped-up ball, outdoor type soccer, but that's actually a strategy that indoor teams are going to play. That diagonal ball deep into the corner boards towards their target. It was a little high there.
There you see Mike Apple, who left a few minutes ago after a collision down in the corner and has ice on his right knee. I told you he scored a couple of goals last night in their win at home over Baltimore. And that's a big part of their game.
Yeah, with Beasley already out and not a factor for tonight's game, this is Apple needs to get back for the Ignition.
Or they need to find somebody to step up. They've got obviously Ricardinho and Everton can both score, but they can't play the entire game. Here's Dos Anjos. Can he get away from Celadopoulos? Yes, but Francois picks it off. Gary Brooks will send it back to Klishkin. Ricardinho looked surprised as that ball stuck to his instep. Plays it to Celadopoulos. He'll go off the boards in front, and Meola just falls to his left and comes up with that one.
Again, seeing 8 yards off his line really kind of make it easy for the defense. A lot of goalkeepers in this league will stay between their posts where they're a little bit more comfortable, and that would have been a dangerous ball off the boards.
Great ball by Ryan Johnson looking for Lazo Alavagna, who could not control it. Ricardinho. Play it back to Vahid Asadpour. Now Jonathan Greenfield up to Ricardinho. They'll play it long, and the only one there is Tony Meola. Alavagna. Sadpour with a shot that goes off Meola's hands in front. He has to pounce on it right on the feet of Jonathan Greenfield, and he comes up firing. The transition by New Jersey. Mujin trying to get that one down in the corner, and we've got a whistle.
Well, there's been 2 or 3 giveaways by defenders for the Ironmen, and so far it hasn't hurt them, but they can't keep giving up chances like that. Ignition are too good, and eventually somebody's going to make them pay.
Free kick for New Jersey. Stokic runs off it, and Alavagna runs onto it. The shot goes off Waltman. The rebound in front. Waltman can't find the handle.
Alavagna is the perfect indoor player. You need to play both ways if you're going to be an indoor soccer star, and Alavagna is one of the only guys in league history to be a defender of the week and an offensive player of the week.
He's just returned to the indoor game after a season off. His rights acquired here from the Chicago Storm, where he was a member of the all-rookie team his first year, in that franchise's first year. He's been an all-star. And with under a minute to play in the first quarter, and New Jersey still leading 2-0, they are in the attacking zone. Here is Lazo Alavagna in the center circle. Bounces here to a wide open Mauricio Salas. He had to wait for that ball as it came slowly off the boards. His shot goes off the post. Juninho. He's taken down before he can get the shot off. He's reached foul called, and that's going to be a 2-minute penalty. Noel Kenny is going to send Nate Kraft to the penalty box, it would appear. And that would put New Jersey on the power play. I saw originally it looked like he pulled out the card.
Yep, he's just slowing
Kraft
going.
here grabs him, pulls him down, and Kraft will go off. So it's our first penalty of the night, and it comes with 35.5 seconds to go in the first quarter.
And this is a dangerous spot here for a restart. This is more like where Vasic likes it. You see Ryan Johnson setting up for a left-footed shot here. Antoniuk at the back post.
So Detroit will play a man down for the next 2 minutes unless New Jersey scores in that time. And it will carry over to the second period. New Jersey 5 out of their first 9 power plays in the first 4 games of the season. They've got plenty of targets here. Gordon Vasic on the restart.
I'll look for a chip across the penalty arc to Alavagna at the back post.
Antoniuk is in the area as well. We will not begin again until Kevin Terry whistles that it's all right to continue. All right, the free kick from just outside the corner kick spot, about 21 feet from the goal. Vasic, nope, sets up Johnson, shot save. Waltman went down low and took that one off his shins, and it's played out over on the far side where there is no glass. Talk about getting up close in the action. Those little kids up front. It's literally a front row seat, no glass involved. Callahan sends that one long, and Meola will let it bounce once. Clock is not moving, at least the scoreboard clock is not. It was 35.5 seconds when that restart was keyed. 10 seconds left in the quarter, they tell us. Here's Juninho. Time running out. First quarter. New Jersey up by a goal. Juninho around Rife. Waltman pounces on that one. And he should be able to just toss it out. And now we get to the end of the quarter and the longest 35 seconds of anyone's life. Vasic tried to catch him off his line with the last shot of the quarter. It did not go, but the Ironmen, after 1 quarter of play, lead the Detroit Ignition 2-0. Back with second quarter action after this. You're watching Ironman Indoor Soccer on SNY. 15 minutes in the books, 2 points on the board from a Gary Brooks goal, and the New Jersey Ironmen in their inaugural home opener lead the Detroit Ignition 2-0. And now New Jersey in red will be attacking from right to left. Ken Tomash and Sal Rosamilia with you tonight here on SNY for this historic night in downtown Newark at the Prudential Center. Alavanya off to Goran Vasic. Again, New Jersey is on the power play. Nate Kraft hit for a 2-minute holding penalty late in the first quarter, and so it carries over. Detroit is down a man, while New Jersey looking to cash in on their 10th power play chance of the young season. Antonia in front, left-footed shot goes high and wide. Juninho flicks it back over his head. Mauricio Salas gets that one away from his man, and he uncorks one that goes off the wall. And that one will be played over the glass, and it will be a kick in for Detroit. So they've taken a little bit more time off of that power play.
If Salas gets a ball on his left foot like he just did there, anything close to that yellow line is in a dangerous spot for him.
40 seconds left in the penalty, and 14-14 remaining in the first half. This is Drew Callahan. We're going to try to kill some time. Just knock the ball back into New Jersey's end, and now 30 seconds to go in the penalty. Juninho across to Vasic. Finds Mauricio Salas. His first touch betrayed him. Here's Alavanya from the yellow line. Down in the corner. Salas is there, and Waltman is there to grab that one.
Waltman's done a great job keeping his team in the game.
Jonathan Greenfield now. Detroit shorthanded for the next 7 seconds. Shot goes off the wall. Will bounce here to the near side. Kraft is set to get sprung, and he does. We're back to full strength, as the first power play of the night does not result in a goal. Meola calls Alavanya off on this one, and now he'll distribute here strongly to Juninho on the near side. To Mayer. Now Meola directs traffic. Mayer plays it up. Matt Johnson intercepts for Detroit. Try to toe poke it to the other side. There's the goal scorer, Gary Brooks, with the defensive play. Slips inside of Ricardinho. Gary Brooks. Now he has to go back and chase that one into the corner. Comes out of there with it. You see the speed, even in tight spaces, that Gary Brooks has.
Speed and determination and power.
Wow, it's one thing to go in a straight line that fast, but to get in traffic like that. It's headed back by Antonia all the way to Meola. Just underway, second quarter. New Jersey leading Detroit 2-0. Here's Sean David. Plays that ball into space to Klestjan, who's pushed up from right back. Back to David. Klestjan ridden off the ball. It remains in New Jersey's clutches as Matthew Mayer plays it back to Meola. Now Gordon Klestjan to Ryan Johnson. He's got Nate Kraft on him. Back off to David in the corner. It's Matt Johnson now. Ricardinho for Detroit. He goes down. He embellished that one a little bit, and it did not impress Kevin Terry.
Good job by Stokic, hustling back on defense, winning possession again for the Ironmen.
Here is Stokic. And Waltman right there in no man's land. Play it with his feet. Forte Sampson barely felt that challenge by Dos Anjos there. Free kick for New Jersey.
If this is your first indoor game that you're watching, you've already noticed that there's a lot more pushing and upper body contact that's allowed in the indoor game that you don't normally see get away with in the outdoor game. Salas can hit this from here, and you see Detroit's deciding to put 2 men in the wall, which I think is a good idea because one wouldn't have done it.
Oh, and Salas waited too long. He's only got 5 seconds to take the free kick, and he waited too long. And Kevin Terry nailed him. Goes back the other way, and now we've got a foul called as Juninho goes down, and he won't make the same mistake twice, I'm guessing. He won't wait long enough. He won't wait too long on this restart.
Now, and Sampson's a big guy, but he can't feel comfortable right now standing that close to Salas with his left foot.
He's got a buddy to help him out, but Salas runs up on it, plays it softly. Dos Anjos with a left-footed shot and another save by Waltman.
Ironmen have done a good job in getting their chances on goal, and Waltman's done a great job in stopping.
Except for the one by Brooks that was a tough shot. Would have been tough for anybody to stop. Here's Juninho in traffic. Alavanya posting up on his man. Callahan for Detroit.
That's a triple threat position there that Muzhin is very good. Getting the ball with his back to the goal, turning, having a shot himself, or laying it off for runners going through, as you saw there.
Juninho. It's fouled there and taken to the ground by Abraham Francois.
He's gotten up close and personal with this turf about 6 times already today. And a couple times I think the referee thought it might have been a dive.
Meola now after the unlucky bounce by New Jersey that went off of referee Kevin Terry. Plays it to Gary Brooks. Brooks knocks it long. And will it stay in the yard? No, knocks the corner flag off. Don't see that very often. It'll be a goalkeeper distribution for Danny Waltman. With 10:44 to play in the first half. That's knocked off, and Alavanya not pleased with the call. Thought his team should have gotten that one. And guess what? They did.
Referee having a chuckle there, pointed the wrong way.
Alavanya knocks it into the corner. Muzhin backing down on Francois, and that one sticks right between the ankles of Danny Waltman.
Ironman head coach Omi Namazi thinks Muzhin is a future all-star in this league, possibly this year.
Another Brazilian. And here is Francois. A lot of international flavor to both of these two teams. Jonathan Greenfield with the ball now is from South Africa. Forte Sampson trying to fight for it there, is from Liberia. And here is the Brazilian Zé Roberto trying to get it on his right peg, but it comes off that shelf and right into the hands of Tony Meola from Kearney, New Jersey. Off the head of Francois, and it will stay in. Gary Brooks is there, the Jamaican. Lazo Alavanya. Alavanya with a big right foot, didn't miss by much. Matthew Mayer now battling over in that right side for it. Antonia comes over there as well. The two big players going at it, and the foul called on Forte Sampson, who was red carded the last time these two teams played. He and Lazo Alavanya both shown the door in that game for rough play. And it'll be a free kick for Sean David. Nine and a half minutes to play in the half. Sean David bounces it in front there. We're looking for someone to put that home. Here's Alavanya down in front, and Antonia doubles the lead.
Antonia doing what he does best, which is finding a way to score goals. Not the fastest player on the field, not the most skilled player on the field, but the league's leading goal scorer. And there you see why. Knowing where to be, knowing where the ball was going to end up. Simple tap in for him. And again, nothing Waltman can do about it. The 2 goals that the Ironmen have scored, he's had no chance at.
The only solution to that, Sal, I guess, is you got to have somebody marking Antoniuk up.
Well, we've talked about it. You must be man-to-man in the defensive third, or the good teams will exploit that, and that's just what Antoniuk did right there. Definitely a defensive lapse on the Ignition part.
Antoniuk scored his first 8 goals of the season on his first 15 shots. Cashes in a shot there, and he has doubled New Jersey's lead to 4-0.
Well, you see why when there's chances like that. I might even be able to put that one in.
Well, let's not go talking crazy now, Sal. Here's Everton. To Ricardinho. He's got Gordon Kleshchin on him. Ryan Mack turns and plays that one up on the far side. Everton is there. Plays it across to Drew Callahan, who's just come in off the bench. Ryan Mack in the corner. Ryan Johnson on him. It's Ryan's hope.
It's real important for the Ironmen now to mark up defensively, be real tight in the back. The indoor game is a game of streaks, and the last thing they need here is a goal by the Ignition to get things going their way. The Ironmen have the run of the play right now. Things are going their way. Ignition played last night. It's all in their favor.
Callahan cleared off the line, and he missed putting home the rebound. That could have been the goal right there that you were talking about. Detroit was down 4-0 last night after one and came back.
Came back to win the game 11-4, beating the Blast for their first loss. So, yeah, it is a game of streaks, and you can almost see that kind of coming. You've gone up 4 points, 2 goals, place is feeling good, complacency can set in, and it's real important now to gain possession, hold it, and let the Ignition start chasing around again.
Gary Brooks can't quite extend his leg long enough to get that one. And Rice goes down for Detroit. Doug Rice, he's fouled there by Federico Mujin.
Again, no sign of Apple midway through the quarter here, and that doesn't look good. The longer he sits there, the less likely I think that he's going to be able to come back.
He is on the bench still, but he's standing there looking forlorn because he is not back in this game. Here's Warte Sampson. Alavagna on him. Matt Johnson. Well, we've got a foul behind the play. And it is on Detroit, on Matt Johnson.
Pushing foul, Detroit number 19, Matt Johnson.
Exactly 7 minutes to play in the first half. New Jersey enjoying a 4-0 lead. It was off the head of Brooks and off the head of Johnson, and they're going to wait and confer and see who gets it. Nope, we've got an official timeout first. With under 7 minutes to play, Detroit, on the strength of a pair of goals, one by Gary Brooks and one by Daniel Antoniuk, leads in their inaugural home opener, 4-0 over the Detroit Ignition. Back with more after this. You're watching the Ironman on SNY.
Join the Devils in their inaugural season at Prudential Center in Newark when they face the Thrashers on December 2nd at 5 and the Bruins on the 5th at 7. For tickets, visit NewJerseyDevils.com.
This Friday, get ready for fast, explosive, non-stop action.
Goal is scored.
Major Indoor Soccer League. A game like no other, with a high-scoring environment played under the rooftop. Live the excitement of Major Indoor Soccer League. This Friday, only on FSC.
Back in New Jersey, where the homestanding Ironmen lead Detroit. It's actually 4-0 here with 7 minutes to go, just under 7 minutes to go, and a little Brazilian flavor to this game, not only for the Brazilian players on the field, not only for an appearance by the great Pele before the game, but also for the samba dancers in one end zone, and all the youth players from around New Jersey who've come tonight with their folks, and a lot of fans. And as you know, Sal Rosamilia, a lot of folks who haven't seen indoor soccer played at this level in this area for many a year have turned out to embrace their new team.
First indoor game in a long time, and for a lot of these people who weren't even alive when Pele was born, but didn't stop them from coming out and being very excited.
There's a restart for New Jersey. Lazo Alavagna sends it all the way across, trying to set up his man. It's knocked down into the corner. Celadopoulos had to go off his head, and Waltman had to pounce on it. Like Federico Mujin came up with a little rug burn on his elbows. He checked that one out.
He's been real close all night to finding the back of the net. He's sniffing it.
Kit Celadopoulos, pressured by Sean David. He'll play it back to Danny Waltman. As Detroit, last year's league finalists, down 4-0, 6:22 to go in the half. They spring Zé Roberto. What a shot, what a goal by the young Brazilian, Zé Roberto.
And just a great play by Sampson. Given too much space along the boards there, though, you can't allow him with his back to the goal to do what he just did. There you see Sampson given too much time, and Donald Gray losing Zé Roberto, which is not hard to do.
One touch, and Zé Roberto, who returned to the indoor game after some time off. He's been playing outdoors in Montreal and Vancouver, and now reunited with his former outdoor coach, Bob Lilly, who's the new coach of the Ignition. Cuts the lead in half at 4-2 at the 8:41 mark. That's his first goal of the season.
Well, the second quarter has been Detroit's quarter all year. They're a +8 on the season in the second quarter.
Mayer now. Trying to play that up to Antoniuk. Ricardinho is there, though. That's a physical battle down in that corner.
And you see, not a whistle. It's allowed to happen in the indoor game.
Letting them play. Detroit now on the attack. They've already got their first goal. The next one would tie things or possibly put them ahead if it's from outside that 45-foot arc. Now Waltman calls his man Francois off, and we'll play it to him with 5:24 to go in the half. Flicked on, and Meola's right there. Nice idea by Ricardinho. That was Everton, rather. 9 rather than 8.
And he needs to be marked a little tighter inside the penalty arc. Man-to-man defense is different indoors than it is outdoors. Man-to-man in the penalty arc or in the defensive thirds means you have to be able to have your hand on the player's shirt. He was too far away there.
Waltman now with Goran Vasic on him. Plays it up. He's looking for Worte Sampson. Meola gets that one out of danger. Callahan was looking to poach one. Vasic with a nice turn, looking for Mayer. Comes out to Ryan Johnson. He'll size it up, and his shot is saved by Waltman. Now Waltman throws it long. Tired New Jersey bench calling for a handball there. They didn't get it. Zay Roberto slides that one down low. It's cleared off the boards by Gary Brooks. There's Ryan Johnson, one against the world. Callahan had the angle on him and came in there to win that one. He's got to do something with it, and he does, finding Zay Roberto.
Johnson's been out there a long time. He's got to look to make a change if he can.
Zay Roberto. Up to Matt Johnson. Or Vasic popped it back out to Alavagna, but he's 1-on-4. Shot is blocked by Greenfield. He still chases it. And we've got a foul called there. Back. Is that one? That's an elbow called by Noel Kenny. See Goran Vasic, New Jersey's leading assist man. And with 3:50 to play in the first half, Detroit will look to tie things up before the intermission. Will potentially go ahead on a three-pointer. Matt Johnson, he's the restart. Gary Brooks intercepts. Brooks and Zay Roberto collide here in the near side. And now Zay Roberto sends Brooks down. He maybe embellished that one a bit.
Well, he got pushed in the back. He's holding his head, so I think you're right.
Again, Zay Roberto only 5'7", and Gary Brooks 5'11". Meola now, the Gordon question. Up to Juninho. Now Meola has it back in front of his own yellow line. Jonathan Greenfield heads it back. Meola can't use his hands on that one. He'll play it here to the side. Quickly, Everton steps in and his shot goes wide, but Greenfield will be there to clean it up. Trying to find Saladopoulos in the corner. Sean David is there first, and he spins out of danger.
And watch him go. He's faster with the ball at his feet than a lot of players are just on a straight run.
Sean David. His hips don't lie either. Question one touch, looking for Alavagna, who's looking to muscle in on his former teammate Matt Johnson. They played together in Chicago before Johnson went to Detroit in the expansion draft. And see Federico Mugin go down there. It was Mugin and not Alavagna.
That was close to being a boarding penalty there. I thought he could have went with a blue card, a 2-minute penalty on that one. Again, a two-man wall for the ignition here with Salas on his left foot. If they went with a one-man wall in this spot here, he definitely would have had a shot at goal.
Salas.
He still might.
Yep. Went off a defender and out. It'll be a kick in now for New Jersey.
Once again, fans, we ask you to return the soccer balls to the field. When it goes way far up in the stands, we get to see how good it are.
Now a little closer, they'll do it again. Again, the two-man wall. Salas this time in front, kicked away by Wright, held in by Juninho, fakes the shot, fakes it again, pushes it out to Kleshin, shot in front, Salas missed. Mujin up to Juninho. Juninho gets it back. And he's tripped up there, and that is going to be 2 minutes.
Well,
Tripping by Asadpour.
Juninho seems a half a step quicker than a lot of the Ignition players trying to defend him. That's about the 7th time he's been knocked to the ground, and the 2nd time he's drawn a penalty.
Vahid Asadpour will go to the penalty box for 2 minutes for tripping.
It's real important for Detroit to get through this quarter, get into the half, down 2 points, and not take one in here.
This power play will not take up all of the remaining time in the second quarter, but most of it.
Somebody better watch Salas here.
And here he is. His left-footed shot goes high off the glass. Rice flicks it back over his head. Alavanya slips it to Salas. Mauricio Salas trying to get it to that left foot again off the glass. Vasic won that one. Juninho with it. He drew that penalty and loses it to Vasic now. To Salas at the yellow line. Push to the near side to Vasic. Curls it low. What a shot. What a pass. What a goal. Oh, what teamwork is that?
And there he is again at the back post. Antonia, just a great goal scorer. And Goran Vasic doing what he does best, which is being the point guard on those power plays. 11 years in indoor soccer. And you see what he's learned. A perfect ball diagonally towards the back post. And I can understand this time Antoniuk not being guarded because they are playing a man down. He leads the league in power play goals, and he's just added to it.
Talk about putting a ball perfectly on a guy's head. Unreal. Daniel Antoniuk has his second of the night. Meola makes a save at the other end. The power play goal.
That's his best save of the game. That was definitely on target.
And he'll whip it out there to Ryan Johnson. Callahan again. The veteran has the angle on it there. Kraft here to say Roberto.
Pushing down Ironman number 11, Matt Mayer.
Now Zay Roberto. As his team is now down 6-2, and they hope to get close to maybe tying it before the half. He's got some work to do in the last minute 13 of this first half. Ryan Johnson flicks it here to Mauricio Salas. Salas with Callahan on it. Fights through. Waltman comes out with a two-footed tackle, wins the ball away.
You know, the way this half has gone, this quarter has gone, I think Bob Lilly will be happy to get in just down 4. Try to make some adjustments. They need to figure out a way to get a little bit more offense with Mike Apple being out, Jamar Beasley being out. So down 4 points, 2 goals at half is not anything they can't come back from.
You mentioned Apple. He is on the bench. His right knee is heavily taped, and he was looking like he was limping, trying to give it a go, but I don't know if we're going to see him again. Talking about 2 huge parts of their offense, and Jamar Beasley was out with a hamstring, and if Apple can't return, they're going to have to rely way too much on Ricardinho and Everton. Time running out. First half, 25 seconds. Clock running. Johnson spins away from his man. He's 1-on-3, and he waited just a beat too long. Francois came in there in front, nobody there. Vasic came in trying to poach.
Nobody there. Where's Antonia?
And a few times tonight he has not been in position. And that will end the first half of play. Good one for the New Jersey Ironmen, as in front of the home folks for the first time in franchise history, they lead the Detroit Ignition by a score of 6-2. Back with halftime in an interview with Pele after this. Stay with us. You're watching the Ironmen on SNY.
So, in their inaugural home game at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, the New Jersey Ironmen in the Major Indoor Soccer League led the Detroit Ignition 6-2 at halftime. This is Soccer Rewind. I'm Ken Tomash, along with Tony Meola, Soccer Hall of Famer, and Sal Rosamilia, who is in my Hall of Fame of broadcast partners. That was a great, fun first half. Let's look at a few first half highlights, guys. Now, it's not a surprise. A lot of expansion teams are made up of guys who were elsewhere and maybe have been deemed expendable, but you got some guys who were really good players, and that's why you got off to a really good start. As we take a look, and the first goal in Newark by a player by the Ironmen was by Gary Brooks, and Brooks was a good player.
Yeah, he was a beast. As I recall, I'm gonna use my glasses to see these highlights. I'm just happy they're not in black and white. That it wasn't so long ago. Yeah, he was a big kid, target player. I see Donnie Gray in there.
And Daniel Antonia gets the second goal here. He's a prototypical target forward too.
Yeah, and he was another Sal. He was another big guy, right? I thought he would have translated well into the outdoor game, as I recall. And I know he wanted to try and play, but he didn't.
Zay Roberto gets Detroit on the board. He played until just a couple of years ago. He's played forever. And then this is a beautiful one. Antoniuk again. You don't often see a lot of headers in the indoor game, but this one was great.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, he made a living, and I think we even talked about it in that game. If you watch the first 4 games of the season, he's standing at the back post all the time. Goran Vasic, put it on a platter for him many times, 3 times in this match. And yet he still had a knack to find himself open. So, I want to blame the defenders for some shocking defense, but you got to give credit to Daniel there, because it just continued to happen. And if you watched any game film, you knew what he was going to do. They really had a hard time stopping.
And you saw that 3-point save there by Tony there in the first half. You're up 6-2 at the break. We've talked about Omid Namazi. You played with him. You coached with him. What was he like to play for? What was he like at halftime of a normal game? This was anything but a normal game, but what was he like?
Yeah, I mean, he's intense. And he always was intense as a player. He's intense as a coach, but I think he also knew when to calm down, right? He also knew when he needed to put the brakes on and calm the group down. He was really he knew the indoor game inside and out. He used to train with us all the time. Did he play a portion of this season? I can't remember. I know he there was a time where he was a player coach for a little while.
He was a player for quite a while with Philadelphia, and but I don't think he played in this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And the only reason I ask, I don't remember, is because he trained every single day. Like when we went to open play, Omid was training, right? So he loved the game. He understood the game. He may have been our best player during most of the trainings too, because of how much he knew. But he was really starting his coaching career in those years and trying to, it's coaching there's a vernacular every day, right? That you got to learn and you got to practice and you got to learn how to express yourself all the time and then get a message across that people understand. I mean, that's the key, right? The guys understand. And then the big key is that they believe you, right? They believe what you're saying, and they believe that you know what you're saying, and you believe in what you're saying. So he's done a really good job, continues to coach now. As I said, still a good friend of mine, currently coaching down in Virginia after being with Tab Ramos in Houston for the last couple of years. Oh, and then in Hartford as well in the USL. So continuing to shed his knowledge on players around the country.
Tony, you talked too about, can we just get to the game? Can we just play the game? Did things settle down once you were able to finally get the game started and get into the flow of it? Or was it just going to be different the whole time?
Yeah, no, it settled down. Like I said, I think we had a couple games before that. I don't remember how many, but
4, yeah, you were 3-1.
Yeah, and we had 2 preseason games against Baltimore. We went down and played, and they came up and played us once, and yeah, so we had some games under our belt. But you saw that group of players, and a lot of experienced indoor players. So none of those guys were really in awe. Goran Vasic was maybe a little bit slower at that time, but I don't know that he was ever a speedster in his career. Right. But he could pick you apart in that game. He just, he was always in the right place at the right time, 2 steps ahead. As a matter of fact, I just spoke to him recently, and we're going to grab lunch here in the near future. He's still coaching, which is great. So, yeah, we had a lot of experience in that group.
Yeah, Goran Vasic was a terrific player. All right, speaking of great players, Sal and I interviewed the great man himself, Pele, at halftime. That is coming up. A reminder, if you like retro, if you like soccer, if you like hearing the inside stuff from our guests, like this video, subscribe, leave us a comment, send us an email, rewind@ken.com. Let us know if there is a game that you want us to rewind to or someone you think that we should interview. And if you've got any classic games yourself on VHS or DVD, let us know that too. We can include those in this channel going forward. All right, back to halftime now at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey on December 1st, 2007. You may have also noticed little pop-up bits of information throughout the first half. Those will continue and hopefully enhance your viewing experience. We'll see you after the game. This is Soccer Rewind.
Welcome back to the Prudential Center, everyone. It's halftime, and we're thrilled to have with us the great man himself, the man of the hour, Pele. What's it like, sir, to be back here in the metro area where so many people have such fond memories of you and have welcomed you with open arms tonight?
Oh, yeah, beautiful. That's a big emotion because, long time I didn't play here. When I come to the field, the kids, the youngsters, everybody start to shout. It will be like I was on any game. Fantastic to come back here.
Pele, who have you enjoyed watching out here? I know Brazil is big with the futsal. Have you seen any players out here this evening that you really think are some exciting players?
Well, listen, this is the first time I know I have 2 or 3 good Brazilian players here, but I wish to be there, because I was here outside. I was like, I want to go inside. I want to go inside. My heart was inside. It's tough to stay outside. But I thank everyone to make this possible, to build love to me. I love those people. I love them, no doubt.
Obviously, you're very much in demand, sir. You have to travel all over the world as an ambassador for the game of soccer. Was it harder to play or to be your role now as an ambassador and travel all over the world?
No, sometimes it's hard to travel all over the world. But I feel comfortable because I have the door open all over the world. As you mentioned before, to travel, I just come from Abu Dhabi. I was Abu Dhabi, I was in France, I was in New York. I came from Mexico yesterday. People love me. It's a hard work, but to keep the football as the best sport in the world, I do it.
As you look back, Pele, now it's been 32 years. Obviously, you've won World Cups. You've scored over 1,000 goals. But as you look back over your American experience of coming here to this area and playing for the Cosmos, where does that rank in your life as far as excitement and interest?
Oh yeah, to play World Cup is fantastic. I have a luck to play with the Brazil team 4 times and Brazil won 3. It's a big emotion, but the best emotion I have when I say goodbye from Cosmos here in Giant Stadium, with the full stadium, the people shout, Pele, I love you, Pele, I love you. This is the most important than anything.
Well, we love you too, sir, and we appreciate you stopping by. The great Pele, everybody. We'll be back with more at halftime. It's New Jersey leading Detroit at the half, 6-2. Stay with us. Halftime at the Prudential Center in downtown Newark with the homestanding New Jersey Ironmen and their inaugural home opener leading the Detroit Ignition 6-2. Let's look and see how we got to this point. It was a rough and tumble first half. As you look, New Jersey outshooting Detroit 10-4 in that opening period. In the opening half, rather. We told you it was a rough and tumble affair. 17 fouls whistled between these two teams. And Danny Waltman forced to make 7 saves. Tony Meola only had to make 3, but a couple of them were big ones, and his team has the lead, leading Detroit 6-2 here in front of a big crowd in the inaugural game at the Prudential Center. Let's take a look at highlights to this point in the first half. As we look here, it's Gary Brooks getting the first goal of the evening as he beats Danny Waltman there. And after 1 quarter of play, New Jersey was up, and they were rolling. They were up 2-0. They doubled that lead on a Daniel Antonia goal, the first of his 2 goals. And Zé Roberto answered to cut it to 4-2 before Antonia answered right before the half. When we come back, we'll have more from the Prudential Center at halftime with New Jersey leading Detroit 6-2. Stay with us. You're watching the Ironman on SNY. Back at the Prudential Center in downtown Newark, New Jersey, as the New Jersey Ironmen lead the Detroit Ignition by a score of 6-2, and we're not too far away from starting the third quarter of play, where Detroit will be looking to cut into that New Jersey lead. You know, it was 122 years ago tomorrow that the first recorded indoor soccer game took place right here in Newark. The Western Football Association of Ontario beat the ONTs of Newark 1-0. Well, tonight history is being made again with the first home game in New Jersey Ironmen history, and on the strength of a pair of goals by Daniel Antoniuk, the home team leads 6-2 after they had to play their first 4 games on the road. They come back here in front of a large and lively crowd with a 3-1 record. And my partner tonight, Sal Rosamilia, down on the field. Sal, from your perspective, how's this game gone?
It's gone perfectly so far for the Ironmen. They possess the ball very well, which is something they've been stressing all week in training for the past 2 weeks. They've done a good job with that. Really important tonight on the second of back-to-backs for the Ignition, because what that's allowed them to do is cause Detroit to just chase all over the field. They're a man down to begin the game with Beasley. They're another man down during the game now with Apple. Appears like he's not going to come back. And the possession game that the Ironmen, if they can continue, Detroit probably won't be able to hang come the fourth quarter.
All right, we'll see how that works. Again, we told you that Jamar Beasley has been out with a hamstring injury that he suffered last night in the game against Baltimore, so he did not make the trip. He is not here. And then in that first half of play, Mike Apple, one of their big scorers up front, went down with a right knee injury, so he did not return and may not return. Right now, let's go back down to Sal, who's with Omid Namazi. Sal?
Coach, great start for the Ironmen. Can't ask for anything better. What do you think went right out there?
Well, we played a good half of defense. I mean, we got behind the ball with 5 guys. We made sure we didn't give them anything easy. And, you know, good things happen when you play good defense.
And what changes have you made? What adjustments have you made for the second half? Apple being out for the Ignition's got to hurt them. What do you think they're going to do coming out in the second half to try to create some offense?
Well, we want to pick up our energy a little bit. I felt we let down a little bit towards the end of the half, but pick it up, start putting pressure on their defenders, maybe run at their keeper, maybe to create turnovers in their end and get some opportunities that way.
Okay, well, good luck, Coach. Ken, back to you.
All right, that is Omid Namazi, who took 2 teams in 2 years to the final game of the MISL championship round. Did it with the Cleveland Force and then did it with St. Louis Steamers. And now he's hoping to do the same with the New Jersey Ironmen, and he's got them off to a 6-2 lead. The man on the opposite bench is Bob Lilly, and he's with Sal now.
Thanks, Ken. Head coach Bob Lilly. Bob, Mike Apple being out's got to hurt the team. Already short Jamar Beasley. Is there a chance he's going to come back for the second half?
It doesn't look like it. I mean, obviously, New Jersey, very physical team, and they've been in our end a lot in the first half. I mean, we're going to have to pick up our level and hopefully get a bit more possession in the attacking end and create our chances. But, you know, right now we're on our heels a bit. We're going to have to do more in the second half to get back in the game.
What sort of adjustments have you made to fill Apple's spot?
Well, we were going around 3 up top, so right now we've got Sampson and Everton up there. But, you know, we feel like we've got to get a second and third runner through the box. I mean, we're trying to attack with 1 and 2 men. We got to get some balls off the boards and make Meola work a bit.
Well, good luck, Coach.
Thanks.
All the best. Ken, back to you.
Bob Lilly, thank you. Thank you, Sal. Bob Lilly took over from his very, very good friend who coached the, Mark Pulisic, who coached the Ignition last year all the way to the final game. And Pulisic has moved upstairs into the front office, where he will continue trying to put together a team that can win the title this year, and they're off to a very good start. Obviously 4-1 coming in. Meanwhile, the New Jersey Ironmen with Federico Mugin very definitely in the mix in that first half of play. And Daniel Antoniuk scoring a pair of goals. Lead it 6-2 on their home turf in front of a big crowd here at the brand new $375 million Prudential Center in downtown Newark. There you get a good look at it. Lots of folks have turned out tonight on opening night. They came and they've seen just about everything that they came to see. They've seen terrific goals. They've seen the home team take the lead. They even saw the great one, Pele. All they need now is to see New Jersey finish it off and get out of here with a win in their first home game ever. Reminder, if you like what you're seeing tonight, folks, you can see MISL soccer all winter long on Fox Soccer Channel. Every Friday night during the season. We'll bring you exciting MISL action from everywhere in the league. The next game is next Friday night as Philadelphia travels to Milwaukee. The Ironmen will be featured on Fox Soccer Channel 5 times this season. Detroit will have 2 more appearances, including 3 weeks from this weekend in Chicago as they play the upstart Storm, who are off to a fantastic start as well. There's Sean David, who showed off his moves in the first half of play. They traded a bunch of expansion draft picks to be able to get him. And there's Lazo Alavagna, who's been a terrific player in his return to the league as well. So we're just about set to start the third quarter. Detroit will kick off an attack from right to left, wearing white. To start the third quarter. Again, they were down last night at home, 4-0 after a quarter to Baltimore. Came back and won that game. Kevin Terry making sure everybody's all right and ready to go, and we're underway. The third quarter begins with Detroit on the attack. Slip head there by Alavagna, right to Meola. Drew Callahan now. Ryan Mack was calling for that one, and Callahan may have waited just a touch too long. His through ball was intercepted. Here is Juninho, toe poking one towards the goal, and Danny Waltman makes yet another save. And Juninho looks like he comes up limping there a little bit. Everton with a shot, goes off Alavagna and out.
Blocks for defenders are a huge part of the indoor game. They actually keep totals of those. Alavagna did a good job there.
Key the restart. Oh, and Callahan trying to make like Antonio did late in the half with his header, but it just goes wide. Detroit holds it in though. Greenfield loses it now. There's Musin going after that one. Plays it to himself off the boards. Kit Celadopoulos on his hip.
Big mistake there by the Ironmen. They got away with it, though. A man free in the penalty arc, again, is not good defending.
Alavagna. Meola up to Mauricio Salas. Tries to get past his man, Kit Celadopoulos. He's appealing to referee Noel Kenny that somebody had a piece of his sleeve. It's Gary Brooks, who scored the first goal of the night.
And you see a little more high pressure, something Coach Lilly must have talked about as halftime as well. A little more high pressure. The Indians got to try to make something happen.
Try to get something going on turnovers and counterattacks, especially since, as we told you, they're down 2 of their leading scorers, including last year's league MVP in Jamar Beasley, who's out with a hamstring pull.
Antoniuk's on the field, and they better make sure somebody's in his back pocket.
That somebody right now is Jonathan Greenfield, but play is down at the other end. That one spins high, and it'll come off the glass right to Tony Meola. Stefan Stokic has that one spin over and out of play. It'll be a Detroit kick in here along the near side. Just underway, third quarter. Ironmen 6, Ignition 2. Worte Sampson trying to get past Gordon Klestjan, and the foul finally whistled on Klestjan.
Almost like he talked him into that foul there. He wasn't going to call, and then he just stopped playing.
I think they played advantage until it was clear that Sampson had gotten the worst of the exchange. This is Doug Rice on the restart. Kraft finds Rife. Sampson. Rife with a shot, and Stefan Stokic is going to have a little Puma logo somewhere on his body when he takes his shirt off tonight. I don't know where he took that one, but it sounded up here.
Ball got in a little too easy there to target Sampson. Why a good opportunity came about from him. You got to try to deny. Gordon Klestjan's doing that now. You got to deny that ball into the top of the arc. It's too dangerous to receive.
Josh Rife. Kraft finds Everton. And Klestjan clears it over the end line.
And this is a dangerous restart where they replay here from.
Kids getting into the act. See if she can get that one over the wall. Well done.
Well, they're playing it as a corner. You see the ignition, we were looking for that at the top of the arc. And the referee says it's going inside the corner flag, closer to the goal, and playing it as a corner kick. Not as dangerous.
Out to Everton. His blast goes up into the corner. Folks here, if they're not familiar with the indoor game, they're definitely getting familiar with the ball here tonight.
Goalkeeper distribution for New Jersey.
Well, many arenas have the net on top of the screen behind the goal, on top of the plexiglass. It's not up tonight.
Sean David now. We'll send this one long. Mujin heads it down, nobody there. In red, Juninho got in there. Mujin comes in, plays it back out. Dos Anjos with a shot way up high. And the folks up in that section didn't think they'd see a ball, but there it is.
And it took Juninho about 3 minutes to find the carpet again.
Let's see this guy's arm. Oh, that's best throw of the night.
Now that's a good arm.
So Waltman will try to do the same, but from inside the field of play with 11:51 to go in the third quarter, and his team down 6-2. And shorthanded when it comes to scoring players. David with a shot, just missed, and Waltman grabbed it off the backboard and fired it out. Here's the transition game for Detroit. 2-on-1. Cross to Everton. His shot goes off the inside of the post. He had Meola beaten, but just missed. Mujin goes down again. Play on.
And that's indoor soccer there. Great chance for the Ironmen at one end. 6 seconds later, almost a goal for the Ignition.
Juninho. He's taken down right in front of Noel Kenny, who
so he's seen enough of that.
Alavanya. Dos Anjos.
And Coach Namazi mentioned at halftime that they were going to try to get Hartman to play the ball with his feet and try to attack him when he did.
Here's Sean David trying to make him pay, and he can't do it. There are 3 white shirts there to block that one, and Waltman comes up with it. Bounces it long. Alavanya heads it back to David. He's got Zé Roberto on his side.
He needs a change. You know, they'd been out there too long, because normally if Sean was fresh on that one, that would have been a breakaway opportunity.
Antonio goes down. Gary Brooks did not get as good a foot on it as he would have liked. Here's Antonio looking for his 3rd goal, but it goes right into the chest of Danny Waltman.
He just seems to be able to sniff where that ball's going to be with a window to have a crack at it.
That's what goal scorers do. He's the leading scorer in the United Soccer League's Division I over the summer for the Atlantic Silverbacks, who went all the way to the final. Alavanya played it back to himself, and his former Chicago teammate stoned him right there.
Third quarter has been a great quarter for the Ironmen so far this season. They're a +11 in the third quarter.
No score here in the third, so it's 6-2 Ironmen as it was at the half. We're under 10 minutes to play in the third. Matt Johnson has it on the far side. Mauricio Salas is there. And finally the foul called on Salas, and Detroit will get a restart there. Salas played with Detroit last year. Briefly, was injured a bit, and then went overseas and played. Actually played in Japan. And in the expansion draft, New Jersey got him, and he's wearing the 10 shirt for the Ironmen. The Ignition got nothing out of the free kick. They do maintain possession, though, here. It's Rice looking for Worte Sampson, cleared away by Alavanya.
Let's see what Alavanya did there. He's fronting Sampson, which I think is the way to play him. You can't play behind, allow him to get that ball and shield you from it. He's too strong, too dangerous, and the runners that the Ignition have going off the ball are too good to allow them to get ahead of speed and attack the goal.
Here's Vahid Asadpour. Plays it off the wall, up to Everton. Alavanya pokes it right back to Meola.
And the Ironmen will do that a lot. They'll rely on Meola a lot more often than most teams would their goalkeeper, knowing that he's comfortable getting the ball at his feet.
Everton now trying to bounce that one across. It took a deflection, and Detroit has to chase it back on their side of midfield. Josh Reif with 8:46 to play in the third. Here's Drew Callahan. Rockets one off the glass. Asadpour just missed. Ricardinho gets a second chance. Steps over. Blocked by Ryan Johnson.
Well, Louis' words have gotten through the Ignition. They're definitely piling more numbers forward, and the Ironmen have to do a better job recognizing who their man is. because right now there's been too many loose guys in the box.
Ricardinho with the foul there, and the free kick now for New Jersey, rather. Alavanya bounces that one through, nobody home. Vasic and Callahan are going to collide there. New Jersey comes away with the ball. Mujin. Big body, holds his man off. Bounces it through to Matt Mayer. Mayer with a shot goes wide. Mujin is there. And a foul called as Mujin goes headfirst into the boards.
That's the second time tonight he's been thrown into the boards.
He's getting a rapid education in this indoor game and exactly how different it is from outdoors.
That didn't happen at Clemson.
Yeah, they're all right now. We're good. Again on the restart, just at the corner of the three-point arc.
And this is set up for a left-footed shot. Vasic to lay it off to Matt Mayer or Gordon Cleashton for a left footer.
Sent across. Juninho is there. Comes back out to Kleshchin. Headed down by Rife. He gave Juninho an elbow in the face and picked up the foul. Fans here in the Prudential Center enjoying it.
And you see a must there in the indoor game. Juninho, a very skilled player, loves to go forward, but having to come back and defend. And if he didn't, it's going to be a dangerous chance for the ignition.
Kleshchin spins away. Has a go. Left footer blocked by Callahan. A rebound just missed by Juninho from distance. Headed down to Ricardinho. Everton. Callahan bounces it to the top of the circle. Now Callahan has it back.
There's a man free, back post. There he is.
What a flick on by Zé Roberto. The head snap that just went high. Antonio pokes it off the boards. Kleshchin with a nice move to Vasic.
Keep saying the same things, Ken, but it's really important in your defensive third and especially in your penalty arc to have all men marked. And 2 yards away in the indoor game is not marking somebody.
Things can change way too rapidly. The ball takes funny bounces in this indoor game. Callahan to Zé Roberto. He has a goal tonight. In fact, the only one for Detroit to this point. Francois with a dodgy little back pass. Waltman plays it up to Greenfield. Jose Roberto flicks it out of there. Here's Francois. Stops. Back to Zé Roberto. Kit Saladopoulos to Jonathan Greenfield. Greenfield, left-footed shot. That would have been a three, but Meola had it go right to his hands, and he distributes it out quickly. Sean David, Francois on him. He's 1-on-3, and he wisely turns it back out.
A very smart play by David there. Meola saw an opportunity for a breakaway. David was reading him well, but once it was shut down, rather than just giving possession over to the ignition, he turned around and restarted again.
Now he's got a better shot, and Waltman again makes the grab.
Waltman's been great tonight, Ken.
It's been terrific. Forte Sampson, nice move. Gary Brooks was there and nudged him just off his mark, and Sampson there, and Meola with one big paw makes the save. Again, Meola. That sequence brought probably the second biggest ovation of the night. The first was for Pele. Forte Sampson again, and Meola with a save. Now it's open, and Zé Roberto misses.
Meola doing what he was brought here to do, and that's win games for them.
It's like the New Jersey goal, 8x14, is covered by saran wrap or something. Instead, it's Tony Meola who's covering every inch of it. And a free kick here will give him a chance to catch his breath, but it's going to set the ignition up with a restart chance with 4:51 to go in the third. Take a look at this sequence. big left hand.
You're not supposed to be able to move that quick when you're 38 years old.
That was probably the best one of the bunch.
Well, just look there. I mean, you look at the goal and it looks like there's nowhere to shoot. His positional play, his angle play is exceptional. Always has been outdoors. And like I said earlier, it took him about 3 days to figure it out indoors.
Another foul down low.
He makes it look like he's covering a hockey net, like they didn't make the change after last night's game.
Devils played here last night. Here is Meola. Everton with a shot. That one's blocked by Sean David. It'll be a kick in, but first we've got timeout on the floor. New Jersey leading Detroit 6-2 in the third. Back with more after this. You're watching the Ironmen on SNY. Back at the Prudential Center, 4:23 to go in the third quarter, and the New Jersey Ironmen lead the Detroit Ignition 6-2 in their inaugural home opener. Coach Omid Namazi's team looking to go 4-1 in their first 5 games of their expansion season. But they're defending a restart here for Detroit after a foul in New Jersey's defensive half.
And Ricardinho's on the ball, and he and Everton are really a tremendous combination on these restarts. I'd look for Ricardinho to try to play it, dump it down near that near post towards Everton.
Gordon Kleshchin is down there marking Everton, and Meola is arranging his chess pieces on the board. Here we go. Ricardinho to Greenfield. His left-footed shot is blocked by Kleshchin. He gets it back, sends it off the wall. That one eluded Everton. Josh Reif has it. There's Ricardinho now. Looks for Everton over his head. Kleshchin is there, and Meola calls him off and takes it. Again, he'll whip it. And that is a 3-line pass. A goalkeeper cannot throw the ball over all 3 lines. If he does, it comes all the way back to his own yellow line, 50 feet away.
And this is a dangerous opportunity here for Detroit. Meola thought Antoniuk was making a diagonal run, thought he was going to continue, and Antoniuk kind of stopped and targeted up. Miscommunication on both their parts.
Now another dead ball restart for Detroit. They trail it 6-2. You see the 2-man wall there. It's a big one. Salas and Antoniuk at the top of the arc. 50 feet away is Ricardinho. We'll push it off to Greenfield. His shot comes off the glass. And Asadpour was in front with a weak shot. That was no trouble at all. Kleshchin now will clear it for New Jersey. The length of the floor, and Danny Waltman will leave it there for Ricardinho. Vahid Asadpour into space for Kip Saladopoulos. Donald Gray was down there on him. Greenfield. Abraham Francois. Saladopoulos. Good defense by Gray.
Gray's a big physical defender. Got turned a little bit there, though.
He's run into the boards. Now he takes Saladopoulos out, and it'll give Detroit another free kick chance, this time from about 22 feet away. You see Gray, he's one of those Jersey guys.
Claiming he was being tugged on there on his jersey. Referee didn't see it that way.
Restart Detroit. They trail it 6-2, 3:11 to go in the third. Pushed out to Greenfield. He fakes the shot. Down in front, nobody home. That went off the heel of Kleshchin. Here is Gray. Played his college soccer at Rutgers. To Meola. To Ryan Johnson. Goran Vasic now. Matthew Mayer dumps it in the corner. Ryan Johnson is there. So are Warte Sampson and Abraham Francois, though, and nobody wants to give up the ball.
Well, two big guys going at it there.
Now Waltman wants the ball.
Referee still hasn't blown the whistle.
No, he said, folks thought he did, but in transition here is Sampson with a shot. And again, Meola in perfect position. It's like he's played the indoor game all his life. Johnson trying to get the ball to his left foot. Shot by, and it's saved by Waltman. Sampson tried to spin and play that one to himself off the wall. Didn't work.
But Waltman's been in good position all night too, Ken. The 3 goals that he's let up really had, no one would have been able to save them.
That's out of play over there where there's no glass. Big kick in for Detroit with under 2 minutes to play in the third. Meola, 9 saves on the evening.
I thought he had 9 in that one spurt a little earlier.
Yeah. Definitely added to the total in there and kept Detroit from getting any closer. Callahan off the boards, flicked away, headed back in.
Well, Detroit, I don't know if Lily's made the adjustment in the middle of this quarter here, but they've really started to use the corner boards a little more effectively.
Ryan Mack flicks it back out to Everton. To Ricardinho. He had a hat trick the last time these two teams met. That one's going off to the side. Gary Brooks is there.
Meola is a great shot saver. The best in the business and has been for 20 years. So what Detroit's trying to do is play balls off the corner boards to open up some angles, to open up parts of the goal where it's just going to be a simple tap-in similar to what Antonio had early in the game.
Now the defense played this ball over the wall from behind their own yellow line, and that results in a restart from the top of the arc. Comes with 1:22 to go in the third. Ricardinho looks over to the bench.
There are a lot of goals scored off this play here.
Ricardinho sidles up to the ball, leaves it for Everton. His shot, and Meola just punched it out.
Again, it's like the ball is drawn to him, and that's just tremendous positional play.
Callahan had some open room, but he had to turn, had his back to goal. His left footer is chested down in the corner by Everton. Got to Josh Reif. We're at a minute to play in the quarter. Toe poke down to Everton. Looking for Greenfield, but it's picked off.
There goes David.
Waltman comes out, cut it down and break up the play before it gets more dangerous. In transition, Greenfield for Detroit. Steps over the ball to Zé Roberto. He's got their only goal of the evening, and it was a cracker. Here he is from 50 feet away. Fakes the shot, gets it off the chest of Reif, and again right to Meola. See the time. Last few seconds here of the third quarter of play. Jonathan Greenfield has it for Detroit. Battling with Mauricio Salas here. They were teammates last year in Detroit. And Detroit will let the third quarter expire. They're still only down 4 points, but they've got 15 minutes left to try to get back into this game. The Ironmen lead their inaugural home opener behind that man, Tony Meola, 6-2 at the end of 3. Stay with us. Fifth 15 minutes remain, and that man's evening. His team, the New Jersey Ironmen, lead the Detroit Ignition 6-2. That is Omid Namazi. And his team kicks off now and attacks from right to left here to start the fourth quarter of play against the Detroit Ignition, last year's MISL runners-up. We're off to a 4-1 start. New Jersey came in 3-1, looking to make it 4-1 with a win here tonight.
Well, 6-2 might seem like an insurmountable lead if you haven't seen the indoor game before, but that's a two-possession game, and certainly wide open here.
Multi-point scoring again if you're just joining us outside that 45-foot arc. Goal is a three-pointer. There's Daniel Antonik, who has two two-pointers tonight, getting sent to the turf, and Detroit coming back the other way. We're glad you're with us on this historic opening night for the New Jersey Ironmen. We're live at the Prudential Center in downtown Newark. Ken Tomash and Sal Rosamilia with you. Here is Juninho. To Goran Vasic. He's got the ball in a string on his feet. Meola plays it to Alavagna. Dispossessed, but New Jersey gets it right back. Here is Juninho. Down in the corner, Antonio. Flicked away. Juninho runs right into Warte Sampson. Juninho's been throwing his body all over this artificial surface tonight. Here's Warte Sampson, like a train. Pokes it just off the wall. Mack with a follow, and I think Meola got a piece of that one too.
I think that might have been blocked by Anyos there. Either way, great job defensively. Has to make head coach Omid Namazi happy to see that. But again, Sampson, just too much of a force.
Jonathan Greenfield now with it on the near side for Detroit. Marked there by Sean David and Ryan Johnson. Comes out of there with it. Matt Johnson looking down in the corner. Warte Sampson. Gordon Kleshin had a big piece of his shirt.
Yeah, he's having a tough time hanging with Sampson there. Again, he's allowing him to get the ball. He's got to get in front of him.
Foul called over on the far side. Free kick for Detroit.
It's almost like having a dominating center in basketball. You have to deny the entry into the post. And right now they're not denying that ball into the post to Sampson. And he's just extremely dangerous and effective. There it is again.
Had him posting up. Here's Greenfield. Sampson's shot wraps around here on the boards. Matt Johnson is there. Sean David on him. That's a physical mismatch, but David wins it. David literally beating Goliath in that respect. Slide tackle there by Gordon Kleshin.
Well, David's used to having everybody he play against tower over him, so it's not something he's unfamiliar with.
You see Gordon Kleshin turned 24 yesterday. His brother Sasha plays for Chivas USA of Major League Soccer and is a U.S. international. And he's kind of a Jersey guy as well. He played at Seton Hall, who plays their basketball home games here at the Prudential Center. Even though he's from Huntington Beach, California. Here is Meola in traffic, left putting it out of there. Off the head of Gary Brooks, brings it down, and he's 1v1 with Waltman. Callahan on his back, and he's pushed down, and that has got to send off.
That's going to be a shootout.
Is it?
2-minute penalty and a shootout.
It's got to be. I mean, he's the last guy back. Callahan had no choice.
And let's get back to Meola on that one. Played the ball, had the ball played to his feet on the goal line in a dangerous spot. It's been a little raggedy back in the defense for the first 3 minutes here of the fourth quarter. And he just sprung Brooks there. Very cool with the ball at his feet. Sprung Brooks on a breakaway. And now resulting in a 2-minute penalty and a shootout opportunity.
Let's see now as they sort this out as Noel Kenny has come over. Gary Brooks made a great play to bring that ball down, and he was in. It will be a shootout. Now here's how the shootout works. The ball will be placed at the yellow line 50 feet away from Danny Waltman.
This is controlled chaos.
Yes, and Goran Vasic, assuming he takes the shot, which it appears he will have 5 seconds to try and beat Danny Waltman, but he's going to have everybody else on both teams at the center line.
And Vasic will probably just touch this forward once and have a go somewhere near the top of the arc.
Well, they did not send Callahan off, which I thought you had to do if you were going to award a shootout. They are going to send Ryan Mack now here into the penalty box.
One touch and a hit here for Vasic, and the goalkeeper is just going to try to get up as big as he can, make the goal look tiny. Waltman's going to try to close down the angle as much as he can, as quick as he can, and then make himself big.
Well, now Kevin Terry is trying to sort stuff out as...
We got the right guy now.
Yeah, Callahan was trying to hide. He was hoping they wouldn't notice that it was him, but yeah, everybody knew it. Callahan is sent off. Now, even if Vasic does not score on this, it will still be a power play that will continue.
And it'll be live action. If he doesn't score, the play will continue.
Yep. He's 50 feet away from Danny Waltman. A shootout with his team up 6-2. 3 minutes into the fourth quarter. The whistle. Vasic saved by Waltman. We remain live.
Again, a great job by Waltman. He got out above the penalty spot there, and it must have looked like there was nothing to shoot for Vasic. Really quick getting off the line there.
Third power play of the night for New Jersey. They are 1 for 2 with a man advantage. And And now Vasic, who quarterbacks this power play that is now 6 out of 11 on the year, gets it to Alavagna.
Detroit's penalty kill is tops in the league.
They were number 2 in both categories last year, a big reason why they played in the final. But they lost the guy who led the league in power play goals a year ago, Jamar Beasley, who's out with a hamstring pull. Now it's Detroit who's the man down. And New Jersey, having missed the opportunity with a shootout. Juninho has that one, and again, Waltman pins it between his knee and the boards. Speaking of knees, Mike Apple has not returned. He has a sweatshirt on. We have not seen him since he injured his right knee in the first half. Has obviously not returned and will not.
And Sampson's done a great job. It seems like he's picked up some more shifts here in the second half, been on the field an awful lot, and has been dangerous every time he's been out there.
Salas, Juninho tries to nail it out of the air, and now Rife gets upended by Juninho. Waltman got a piece of that one. Here is Greenfield with a deft move. Again, Detroit is short-handed here, trying to kill some clock as they still have 20 seconds left in the man disadvantage. Juninho chests that one at center field.
And Detroit very much in this game, very much in this game. Ironmen need one more goal to try to make it a little bit more comfortable.
Juninho to Alavagna. 7 seconds to go in the Ironmen power play. Salas with a left-footed rocket almost went in down low, and Antoniak was right there on the doorstep, almost got his third of the night.
How'd he miss?
Power play is over. Callahan, the man who was sent to the sin bin, comes back in and sets up. And Meola is there with a knee to deny Ricardinho. Here's Antoniak. Sent back the other way by Francois.
The Ironman got caught in a change there. Meola had to come up big again.
There's Assad Poor, and we've got, it's probably a substitution, too many men, the way Kevin Terry is holding that blue card aloft. And where he's pointing is they may have gotten caught there. Take a look at this shot by Salas.
There's Antoniak sniffing it again.
Oh, he was just trying to get cheeky with it maybe and backheel it into the net. And Detroit had too many men on the field, so the 4th penalty of the night goes against the Ignition. Comes at the 5:22 mark. When you have dynamic substitution, and guys are shifting in and out, you can get caught there with that extra field player.
You know, part of the problem could be with players not used to being on the field in certain positions, missing Apple, missing Beasley. Usually you have a person that you're used to make changes with. And when they're having to shuffle players, there could have been some confusion on whose turn it was to come off.
4th power play chance of the night for New Jersey. Scored on 1 of the first 3. Passage down to Alavagna. If nothing else, this will kill a couple more minutes and keep Detroit from really trying to climb back into this one.
The Ironman must be careful, though, because it is a dangerous opportunity for them, but it's equally as dangerous for breakaways going the other way.
Vasic. Back across to Salas. It's a 3-pointer if it goes, but it goes off the wall. Vasic one times it down low. Mujin with a shot, and Waltman stops that one.
Ken, you had said before the last time these two teams met that Waltman was a big fan of Tony Meola. And I think even asked for his autograph was a story you had told me.
That's right. Right before 10 minutes before the game, there's Danny Waltman trying to get an autograph on a picture of Tony Meola. At that point, he became just a big fan, as many of the teams are and many players are, for a guy with so many appearances and has done so much. Well, we'll come back with the final 9.5 minutes from the Prudential Center. The Ironmen lead in their inaugural home game, 6-2 over the Detroit Ignition. Back after this. We were talking before the break, Sal, about how Danny Waltman's such a big fan of Tony Meola. Well, that maybe has inspired him to play so well tonight, because he's in front of one of his idols. He's really played well at the back for Detroit. Their only problem is that they have not scored enough points to keep him in the lead in this game, and Meola has been just as good as he's had to be in the back.
Yeah, Coach Bob Lilly thinks that Waltman can win games for his team. All you normally want your goalkeeper to do is not lose any for you. The special ones are the ones that have the ability to win games, and both of these goalkeepers here tonight have that ability.
Meola, 38 years old. There's Bob Lilly. Meola at 38, and this indoor game, this will wear on you, especially if you're a keeper and you've had to work as hard as Meola has in the early going for this expansion team. You tell me, you were his personal coach for many years. Can he keep this up as Antonio puts home his third goal of the night? The hat trick for Daniel Antonio, and the lead is growing in the Garden State.
Everybody in the house knows that Antonio needs to be watched at the back post, and I'm sure the Ignition team knows it, but he's so good that he continues to slip guys. And what a pass by Vasic.
He has just been deadly accurate with his passes tonight.
Antonio shaking his head, laughing. He can't believe that might be easier than the last one he got. Vasic just setting him up.
Vasic had 6 assists coming in to lead the team. He's got 2 here tonight. And Vasic sets up Antoniuk for the second straight time.
And Antoniuk's not the only one smiling like that tonight. There are a lot of happy faces right now in the crowd.
Helps when you've had 2 weeks off and your opponent played last night against a tough opponent. And here is Gary Brooks.
Still no time to relax here for the Ironmen. 3-goal lead or 2 3-pointers. And the last time these two teams played, the Ironmen were up 21-8 late in the game. And a 6th attacker for the Ignition scored 3 goals in the last 4 minutes of that match. So this one's certainly far from over.
8 minutes as we see Tony Meola with the ball. To get back to the point about Meola we were making before Antonio got his 3rd goal of the night, can he continue at this pace?
He may be able to, but certainly he doesn't want to. He's being used far too much. You never want your goalkeeper to be the busiest man on the field. And there's been a couple of times early in the season where he's had to be. That's what he brought him in for. So he's doing what they'd asked him to do, but you can't do it over a 30-game schedule.
Maybe not at the age of 38. Even though he keeps himself in good shape, it's a lot to ask of anybody, especially with the travel in this league and back-to-backs, to play night in and night out as hard as he plays.
Well, I'm sure there'll be times during the season, especially in back-to-backs. The Ironmen haven't had any of those yet, where the second goalkeeper will get an opportunity to play.
Bayard Elfin. Amin Namazi likes him so much he keeps getting him. Had him in Cleveland, had him in St. Louis, and now has him here in New Jersey. And here's Abraham Francois showing some deft footwork. With 7 minutes to play in the game.
Elfin certainly has the ability to be a starting goalkeeper in this league. He just happens to be backing up the greatest goalkeeper the United States has ever produced.
Salas. Left footer off the boards, and Waltman could not control it. Johnson is there, but so is Callahan. He goes down. And Waltman finally comes out of there with it.
It'll be a shame the way Waltman played tonight if this score gets much more out of hand than it is right now. He's been too good to take in double-digit points tonight.
His team has scored just the 1 goal. It came in the 2nd quarter, and it was off the foot of Zé Roberto. And we've got a foul called here, a pushing foul on Matt Johnson, and so a Juninho foul results in a free kick.
You've said that a couple times
Yeah,
tonight.
that has happened tonight. He's another guy who hasn't played much indoor, but he's getting an early education in the game.
Got fouled again.
Well, note to friends of Juninho, maybe don't call him early tomorrow morning.
Sleeping in.
Yeah, I think he's sleeping in. And he's going to be, if he doesn't get to the phone right away, you'll know why. Down in the corner. Johnson flicks it out of there. Sadpour heads it away. That one's going to go off the shelf, but it'll stay in. Vasic now will knock it back, and Meola play it there. Just under 6 minutes to play here. Ryan Johnson to Gary Brooks, who got this whole thing started in the 1st quarter. Slams it off the boards to Mujin. Saved by Danny Waltman.
Well, he's been the player of the match by far for the Ignition tonight. And again, you never want your goalkeeper to be the player of the game. Not a good sign.
Sean David.
Well, this is milking time for the Ironmen. Coming up on 5 minutes to go. They'll be happy to possess this ball as much as they can, let Detroit chase around, and it's time to start killing the clock. 8 points should be enough to win this game.
Yeah, you don't know how much Detroit has left in the tank to play that chase game for the next 5 minutes. Here's Ricardinho. Josh Rife. Rice sends it off the glass. There, Roberto in front, just missed. Almost had his second goal of the night.
He's been real effective for the Ignition, and like Antonio, you can't lose him in the box.
Now, Danny Waltman will call timeout. This is so they can get the sixth attacker on with 4:38 to go. So Waltman will leave. He'll come off onto the bench, and they will take a field player, and he'll put a goalkeeper jersey on to act as an extra attacker here as they try to get back into this one. Now, the good news is, the advantage is that you get an extra player in the attacking zone, but the bad news is you leave your goal completely open at the other end as the wave begins here at Prudential Center for the first time for the New Jersey Ironmen. A night of firsts here. First home goal by Gary Brooks.
The last time I saw the wave at a game might have been at Pele's finale.
That was 30 years and 2 months ago today. Well, it was great to meet him, great to see him, and great that he stopped by at halftime. And I know all the folks here got a chance to see him and meet him. In fact, the players, was talking to Detroit players, and they were talking about how he was supposed to come into their locker room and talk with them, and they were all excited. They were like all giddy. He said, we're all nerds. We just can't wait for him to get in here. So everybody who's ever laced up a pair of boots owes a lot to him coming here, to having arenas like we have tonight and an atmosphere and a soccer community like we have in this country.
It's amazing. 75% of the people in the building weren't born when Pele was playing.
But that guy definitely was. You and he grew up together, obviously, in Kearney, not far from here, and were fixtures at Cosmo games, along with guys like Tab Ramos, John Harkes.
Yeah, this is a great place for soccer, indoor or outdoor. This part in northern New Jersey here. Soccer mad, Kearney, Harrison, St. Benedict's Prep, probably the best soccer team in the nation, high school soccer, located right here in Newark.
All right, here we go. Detroit with 4:36 to play in the game, down by 6 points. It's only 3 goals or 2 3-pointers. They have the extra attacker on, and unfortunately, Drew Callahan plays that one into the penalty box. So now, with Ricardinho wearing that green jersey, he can use his hands just like a keeper when he's in that penalty arc. But he's stuck there if his team can't get the ball out of their end. Mazo Alavagna to Donald Gray. Now Alavagna dumps it long, and Ricardinho will get his first grasp of the ball.
Well, these last 4 minutes are either going to make Omi Namazi very happy or very angry, because they've been working on against this sixth attacker all week in practice, because they have struggled with it.
Worte Sampson sets up his man in front of the Ironmen. See their lead dwindle from 8-2 to 8-4 as Everton gets it on the sixth attacker. It's exactly what Omi Namazi did not want to see.
Well, it's been a problem. There's been 2 games this year against Orlando where Orlando played with the sixth attacker, and the first time around against Detroit. And they've not been successful either time. They took in a goal against Orlando and struggled at the end to close that game out, and they took in 3 with the sixth attacker the last time they played Detroit. And now this game is very much in doubt. They've even brought Waltman back.
Yep.
Because there's no reason to put that type of pressure on them defensively right now. 4 minutes is loads of time. 2 goals down.
Sampson set up Everton to make it 8-4. 3:45 to play now. We could see that sixth attacker come back out, but for right now, Waltman is in there as now some of the pressure is relieved. They're only 2 scores from tying it.
Well, Sampson was allowed to get the ball again with his back to the goal. And once he does that, he's just too strong, too physical, too big to be dispossessed of it.
Sixth attacker back on. It's Ricardinho. Here is Drew Callahan. 3:14 to play in regulation.
And Sampson's back, and he's posting up at the top of the arc, and somebody's got to get in front of him.
That shot off the glass, wrapped around and went into the corner here. There's Everton, most recent goal scorer for Detroit. Chant of Ironmen, Ironmen. Meola to Dos Anjos, loose ball. Mayer slides it up to Stokic, he's 2-on-1. Stokic flicks it over to David, who his right foot tried to play it to himself off the wall, and Waltman grabs it there. They'll be interchanging their goalkeeper when they have the ball at their end. And as soon as they get it out of there and can get the sixth attacker on, Waltman will depart, but they got to get it out of their own end.
And this is like a power play. So similar earlier in the game when the Ironmen were on the power play, they wanted to hold possession, let the Ignition start to chase and get tired. Same deal here with the Ignition having the extra man, holding possession, keep the Ironmen players out on the field for a long period of time, more than a minute, and you get tired and opportunities open up.
Only 2:18 to play in regulation, though. If we're tied, we will play overtime. Now New Jersey. Sampson in front, flicks it up in the air. Sets up Callahan. His shot, that may have been blocked. Deflected, no. They're going to give it to New Jersey, and Waltman will return with 2:07 to play.
Ironmen need somebody in the midfield to gain possession of the ball, put a foot on it, maybe draw a foul. Janino, maybe something like that. He's been on the ground enough today. Need to gain possession, kill some of this clock. Right now, they're doing too much chasing.
Now, Waltman was back on briefly, but Ricardinho has come back on. And New Jersey wants timeout. With 2:07 to play in the game. And the New Jersey Ironmen leading it home to the Detroit Ignition, 8-4 in their inaugural home opener. So now they want to make sure, obviously, that they know exactly what to do against the sixth attacker here for the final 2:07, because anything can happen in the indoor game. Case in point, the most recent goal by Detroit, they were down 8-2, but with the sixth attacker on, the extra man, they were able to cut that lead to 8-4. Here's how it happened.
Well, the ball into Sampson, and then just a simple lay across back post for Everton.
Things can change very quickly in this indoor game. The ball bounces funny ways. With 2:07 to play in the game, Gary Brooks making sure he is exactly clear on what Omid Namazi wants.
Well, his penalty killers have been out there. That timeout was for two reasons. One, to talk about how they're going to play defense here. Two, to give their penalty killers who were just out there for a long period of time a little bit of rest so they can come back out and try to kill this last 2 minutes.
And remember, New Jersey had a shootout chance that they didn't cash in on the power play that went with it. And now that looms even larger, as with two scores, Detroit will have tied this game up.
There's certainly been opportunities on both sides. Waltman has done a great job all game keeping Detroit in it.
He is out of the game at the moment as the sixth attacker is on. New Jersey trying to keep possession. Here's Gary Brooks. Brooks. Callahan showing that veteran savvy to block that one. Brooks fouled him. And here they come. The Ignition looking to tie. They'll need 2 goals to do it.
Well, they've put Gray now on Sampson to try to match his strength.
Now Ricardinho played that one into the New Jersey bench with 1:43 to go. He has to rush back to the other end to get back in the goal. David to Stefan Stokic. Stokic sends that one in front, and Ricardinho stuck out his right foot and stuck right to it. Matthew Mayer tracks that one down. Forte Sampson plays it back. The sixth attacker, Ricardinho. 80 seconds to go in regulation time.
Good job by Gray there.
Gray steals it away, and his shot goes just high. The header goes right back into Ricardinho's hands. Sean David was right there. Drew Callahan. 1 minute left in regulation. Gray again with a nice play. He gets kicked from behind and fouled by Everton. And
doesn't seem very happy.
I can read his lips, and he's not saying thank you.
Well, two great jobs there defensively by Gray along the left side boards.
Thought Everton got away with a handball there. Here's Sampson with a shot, and it's 8-6. It's a three-pointer, is it? Everybody looks at the scoreboard, and
holding up two.
Kevin Terry says, no, that's only a deuce, but Worte Sampson has a goal and an assist with a sixth attacker.
You said it, Ken. You thought there was a handball there. I did as well, and it seemed like some of the Ironman players may have relaxed.
What a rocket by Worte Sampson.
They're discussing it now, whether it's three or not.
Whoa, that's right on that line.
On the line's three.
It's only two, so it's 8-6, even though the scoreboard high above us says 8-8. Here's Ricardinho. Callahan. It's actually 8-6. Greenfield, slide tackle by Question. It's going to come right down to the final seconds, folks. This inaugural home match for the New Jersey Ironmen. Here is Meola. Meola can throw it the length of the floor. It would be a goal if it goes in. Callahan steals a glance up at the scoreboard clock. There's just seconds remaining. He sends it long. Alavagna clears it, and that is it. The Ironmen are celebrating, and yes, it is the end. The scoreboard clock still read 1.8 seconds, but the game is over. The New Jersey Ironmen hold on to defeat a determined Detroit Ignition side by the count of 8-6. When we come back, we'll have interviews from some of the victorious Ironmen on this historic home opening night as they beat the Ignition 8-6. Back with more after this. You're watching the Ironman on SNY. So a successful night all the way around on December 1st, 2007, as the New Jersey Ironmen beat the Detroit Ignition 8-6. This is Soccer Rewind. I'm Ken Tomash. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's grow this channel. It's a lot of fun so far. Sal Rosamilia and Tony Meola are back to wrap this one up. Key sequence in this one, guys, is this flurry of saves. Now, in the outdoor game, it's not often that you don't want to give up rebounds, obviously, and it's not often you're going to get multiple opportunities, bang, 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 bang. But in the indoor, it's almost inevitable. Take a look at this sequence, and you guys tell me what you're seeing. Sampson, nice move. Gary Brooks was there and nudged him just off his mark, and Sampson there, and Meola with one big paw makes the save.
Oh, pretty good.
Quick reaction. Now, Detroit had a good team, and Worte Sampson's a big guy too.
Sampson again, and Meola with a save.
Get a paw on that one.
Now it's open, and Zé Roberto misses.
Then blocked off the line.
Meola doing what he was brought here to do, and that's win games for them.
And then I like this sequence too coming up. I mean, this is looking at it again. Quick reactions here.
Or something. Instead, it's Tony Meola who's covering every inch of it.
Notice how I got my face out of the way, Sal, on that one on the boards. He's very smart.
We worked
of me.
on that every day.
Yeah, we did.
Good idea. All right. So obviously a game like this, I mean, it doesn't compare to playing in the World Cup, but how special was it when all was said and done? Not only did you have all the pregame hype and family and friends and you're at home, but you win the game and everybody goes home happy. What was that like?
Yeah, it's cool. I didn't even remember we won, to be honest, because I could never, because so many of these felt like a loss. I could never wrap my head around you won 8-6, and as a goalkeeper, I'm like 6. That doesn't sound very good. But of course, it's a completely different game. Yeah, but it was a great night. I think we had like close to 17 or 18,000. Like we sold out the building. Sal and I probably knew 4,000 people in the building because the town of Kearney showed up. They really did, and yeah, it was a pretty cool night. And we thought we were building something there in that place, and I think the people there, we saw so many people that came game after game after game. Even those afternoon games, they'd take off work, and so we built something that it didn't last long, but for the time it was there, it was pretty cool.
And Sal, for me and you, I mean, that was fun. We had literally just met that morning. We did the game that night. Everything that you could possibly want from a game. It was an exciting match. There was obviously Pele. We got to talk to him at halftime. It was a close, exciting match, big crowd. We're on Sportsnet New York in the biggest market in the country, which to you guys is just home, but to a rube like me from Tampa, Florida, this is big. I'm on TV in New York. So all in all, it was a super fun night.
It was fantastic, and I got to thank you. You really spent some time with me leading up to it. I didn't watch a whole lot of indoor soccer, to be fair, and I know you spent a lot of time broadcasting it, and you caught me up to speed, and you were really generous with your time and understanding and carried me throughout the whole broadcast. So I want to say thanks. And you told me don't go into those chat rooms and don't listen to what everybody's saying about you. Best stuff. Just don't go on there and do any of that stuff. So
it's a good rule of thumb, no matter what you're doing. So, Tony, as you mentioned, this was part of an 8-3 start to the Ironmen's first season. The rest of the way, bit of a struggle, though. You went 6-13 after that, finished 14-16 on the year. What happened? What happened?
Ken, I don't know. That was like 2007.
I know. Sorry. I know. Something stick with you.
We actually had a couple of injuries in that group. Yeah, but I think, like anything else, you play teams in that league. You play teams a lot, right? And it's hard to beat teams, multiple times. They figure something out, and then you got to go back and figure something out. And we struggled at the end of the year. We did make the playoffs, as I recall, and I think we lost in Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken. Who has always been a powerhouse in the league, right? And that's one of those teams. We were an expansion team still, right? We're still new guys, and we struggled at the end. But I think all in all, we look at that first season, that was pretty good.
But that summer then is the big split. The MISL fractured. Some teams, including the Ironmen, went off to form the XSL. The rest formed what was originally called the NISL, but became the third MISL. Had you already decided at that point to call time on your career, or did circumstances kind of just make that decision for you?
Actually, I thought I was going back to play in MLS at that time. I thought I was going back to the West Coast, oddly enough, at Chivas. There was one other possibility as well. So I thought, okay, well, I've done kind of part of my mission was just to get back into playing, and then it didn't end up working out because I realized, as I mentioned earlier, how close I was to maybe leaving again, and I didn't want to leave home. I didn't want to move across the country, which would have been 1 or 2 more years at best. Even if I had that much left in me. So I was content being home, and just kind of fell off the face of the soccer earth, right? For about 2 or 3 years. Like you couldn't find me. Sal was probably one of the few people that I can count on my hand that could probably find me during that period. I didn't do anything during that period with soccer, and then somehow I got into this radio and broadcasting thing, and I still think 14 years later, you guys are crazy for doing this, but I'm here.
Sal, you called games for the Ironmen the second year when they went 11-9 in the XSL, which nobody remembers, but it was never quite the same after that opening night, was it? And in that second year, I mean, obviously it was tough to draw a crowd. It was an average team. You had guys, I mean, Brett Phillips was flying in just for games to play goal. What was that second year like? It was kind of weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, you kind of knew the end was coming, right? So it's hard to sort of put all your efforts and energies into something that is not going to last. You're kind of trying to figure out where you're going next. The guys who are still players, they're not completely engaged in the process because they know in a month or two, this is no longer an option for them. So it just kind of felt like that, right? A bunch of guys trying, showing up, giving a reasonable effort, but sort of just pulling in a lot of different directions. And frankly, disappointed. None of us got started thinking it was going to end in 1.5 years or 2 seasons. So there was, some disappointment attached to it, and just kind of made it difficult. Still a bunch of professionals. Tony not being involved, kind of made it not quite as rewarding for me every single day. I got to mention, you talked about some great pros on that team that first year, and there were, for sure. Guys like Goran Vasic and Kevin Sloan, who was a player. Kevin was the player coach, assistant, first assistant to Omid, and still playing. And you had a bunch of those guys that really set the tone. But then you also had a ton of really young guys who were not indoor players, just out of college. So there was a real disconnect. You know, you had a bunch of seasoned veterans, older guys, guys like Tony the year before. You know, I tell this story too to some of my younger players and my own kids. You know, Tony's 38 years old, had already done everything in the game, a complete legend, greatest goalkeeper in United States history. And our training was 10 o'clock every morning at an indoor facility in Wayne. And Tony would, drive and call me up. He's like, I'm going to get there at 8:30. I'm like, practice at 10 o'clock. He's like, yeah, man, I'm going to get there at 8:30. I'm going to get my body ready. You want to show up at 9:15 and start warming my hands up and doing things. But I'm just letting you know I'm going to be there at 8:30. We had the younger guys tell me, remember there was a Burger King at the Turf City parking lot in Wayne where we trained, had a Burger King in the same parking lot. And a lot of these guys, I don't want to name names, but they're in the Burger King at 9:50 in the morning, getting sausage, croissants, and hash browns, and they're walking in the door. Practice is going to start in 10 minutes, and these guys are eating, Burger King sandwiches. And Tony's been there for an hour and a half, getting his body ready, getting his mind ready, and he really showed what it was like to be a true professional. Not that the older guys needed it, but it was a great example of guys running in, trying to change, put their boots on to get on the field. And here's, the greatest player that any of them have ever had an opportunity and the privilege to play with. And he's been on the field for an hour and a half already before practice starts. So,
well, hell, Sal, I wished I could have gotten there 5 minutes before training, but the body didn't agree with me that I needed that hour to warm up before. That's for sure. I had to do a lot more things than they had to do, but I appreciate what you're saying. I didn't know any other way, right? Like that's all I ever did. And I think subconsciously I was probably just enjoying. I knew I was coming to the end. I just didn't know when. I was probably just enjoying as much time as I could on the field towards the end of my career as possible. Well, I was so far behind so many of those guys, right? Like they had been playing indoor for years. I was trying to just cram in, I was cramming for the test, the night before. That's what I was doing all the time. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning it. It was fun. I just added to the vocabulary, the soccer vocabulary. I add all of that stuff in, and it was a blast.
And but that was that. After the 2008-2009 season, the XSL and the Ironmen were done. They called it a hiatus at the time, but they never came back. I'll ask you both. Great new arena, deep-pocketed owners, the guys who owned the Devils at the time as well. Tons of soccer fans in the area. Long, diverse community interest in the game and demographics. Why didn't it work? Do you have any idea, looking back, why this didn't work? I mean, indoor doesn't work a lot. I mean, to be great, it would work in a lot of places, but this would have seemed like this had all the things that you needed to make it work.
Having been in that office, I would imagine this, it folding had nothing really to do with the owners as much as it had to do with the league, right, itself and what it was doing. Because the idea when, we don't, none of us really get a chance in our life to own arenas. But the one thing you got to do is fill dates. And this was at least filling dates for them. Some nights better than others, but I can't imagine they wanted it to go away that quickly and in the way that it did. But that league struggled a little bit, and it struggled on and off for years and years, and still, hopefully, it's at a stable point now and will grow a little bit. But it's such a fun game. Again, I'm hoping that it catches on a little bit more. Actually, I'm hoping it catches on like it was when Sal and I grew up and when we all grew up, right? Because the indoor game was massive. That was a place to be.
Gentlemen, this has been an absurd amount of fun. I want to thank you both for joining us on Soccer Rewind and looking back at an interesting moment in American soccer history. Thanks.
Thanks, Ken.
For having me, Ken.
Thanks, Sal.
Well, oops, I put myself off. That is it for this week. Remember, like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, send us an email, check out the other videos. Join us next week for another one. We got some great ones coming up, and we're going to be doing some cool giveaways for subscribers in the near future. We'll even let you vote on what vintage American soccer game we rewind to next. Stick with us. Going to be fun. I'm Ken Tomash. Till next time, be kind, rewind. Opening night in New Jersey, a big success, a big crowd, and a win by the home team, 8-6 over the Detroit Ignition. Let's go down now to Sal Rosamilia, who is with Omid Namazi. Sal?
Coach, got to be happy with the way the game went, getting a win tonight in the home opener.
Yeah, anytime you get a W, it's a plus. We made it a little difficult on us at the end of the game, but you know what? At the end of the day, we're an expansion team. You know, any wins, we'll take them, and hopefully we'll get better as the time comes.
Detroit won last night against Baltimore, giving them their first loss of the season. Detroit now with only 2 losses, both to the New Jersey Ironmen. Got to feel pretty good about that. Detroit, a finalist last year. You got to feel the team might be on its way towards something special.
Well, I hope so. I'm sure that Detroit feels differently, but you know what? We've done well so far. We just got to keep improving, Sal. Our possession game is not there. I'd like to see us hold the ball a little bit longer at times and really make the other team chase. And you know, we'll work on it at practice hard and come back for the next one.
What is it with the 6th attacker? I know that's been something that you worked on all week, and again took a couple of goals in down to the 6th attacker. What is it exactly, do you think, that's causing trouble for the team?
Well, it's never easy to defend the 6th attacker, but a lack of experience is definitely hurting us. You know, we don't have a lot of guys who are savvy, who know what the other team is going to do and try to anticipate that. So that's hurting us a little bit. But, you know, as time comes, we'll get better and better.
All the best. You got some stuff to work on this week in practice.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach. And next we have Tony Meola, goalkeeper, one of the men of the match tonight. Tony, great game. Have to be excited coming back to New Jersey and playing as well as you did today.
Well, yeah, this was a big night, you know. I got to the point this afternoon, I didn't know if I was going to make it through the end of the night. I was so excited and so many different things going on, but it's good we came out with a win.
Can you continue at this type of pace with that much work?
Well, I hope so. You know, one of these days I'm going to get a rest. We've talked about it with Omid, but for now we're going to enjoy this, and it was a great night starting with Pele being here, and we can't ask for much more.
Well, was it part of the plan to make it exciting late in the game for the crowd that came here?
No, I was hoping that, you know, it was going to be a little wider margin, but I think I've told you on a couple of occasions, I think this is the best team in the league that we played. We beat them at their place, we beat them here, but the two of us, I think, will be there in the end at some point.
Well, certainly the fans here tonight hope so, Tony. Thank you for your time. Ken, back to you.
All right, thank you, Sal, and thank you, Tony Meola, who was a very busy man tonight, making save after save after save, and his team had just enough offense tonight to defeat the Detroit Ignition 8-6 to improve to 4-1 on the year. You see the stats there, even at 38, but Detroit hamstrung tonight without Jamar Beasley, who was out with a hamstring, but Sal is now with Jonathan Greenfield of the Ignition. Sal?
And Jonathan, tough finish, exciting finish for your team there. Did playing last night and being down Jamar Beasley and then losing Mike Apple during the game, how much of the fatigue from last night carried over into today, if any?
You know, I think it was a tough game. Jersey is a really good team. They played really well, very physical, a lot of pace. I don't like to put you know, excuses on that. You know, we didn't have Jamar Beasley. You know, unfortunately, Mike Apple hurt himself in the first quarter. You know, we all here, we got to step up. We can't always depend on Jamar. We can't always depend on Mike. But, you know, obviously having players like that, it's a great advantage to have. So at the same time, you know, it's tough to lose both of them.
And in both your matches with the Ironmen this year, you've been real effective using the 6th attacker. Why do you think that is?
Well, you know, it's a numerical advantage. You know, it's 6 versus 5. And, you know, as a defensive point of view, you're defending a lot. You know, you're literally doing laps up and down, chasing the ball. Hopefully you can pinch it and counterattack. I think we got a good 6 attacker unit right now. And obviously we don't want to go into the season always being down and using it. But if it works, that's good for us.
And you had coming off a great victory last night. The Baltimore Blast were flying so far this year, undefeated. You took care of them at your place. You had to feel pretty good going into today's game with some revenge on your mind after the first match with the Ironmen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. You know, last night we lost the last game we played. We lost at home, actually, obviously to the Jersey. And last night was a big game for us. We needed a win. Obviously, you want to win your home games. Coming here today, you know, it's tough. Jersey's a good team. And I see them definitely being a playoff team right now.
Do you think it's a problem? You have only 2 losses on the season, and both have come to the Ironmen. Is that something you guys will be concerned with next time you play them?
Of course. That's, they're 2 and up on us. And, that's going to be tough for us. We definitely need to step our game up. We know what they're about. We've seen them twice, so we know what we're about. It's going to be tough. Obviously, if they carry on going the way they are and we meet them in the playoff run, I think it's going to be a tough game.
Jonathan Greenfield, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot.
Ken, back to you.
All right, thank you, Sal. Jonathan Greenfield, classy in defeat as his Detroit Ignition side goes down to defeat here. That man was the picture-perfect star of the evening, Daniel Antoniuk, and he was involved in our play of the game. Antoniuk with a hat trick tonight, 3 goals, perhaps none as easy or as pretty as this beautiful ball from Goran Vasic that finds him down low. Antoniuk just has to smile. Here's Vasic again, setting up his man. 2 assists on the night for Vasic, 3 goals on the night for Antoniuk. A big crowd and smiles all around for the New Jersey Ironmen as they sign off on an 8-6 win in front of the home folks that gets them to 4-1 on the campaign. I want to thank all of you for watching tonight. Hope to see you out here many times at the Prudential Center here in downtown Newark this season for the exciting New Jersey Ironmen. So for Sal Rosamilia and for our entire crew, this is Ken Tomash. Thanking you for watching and hope to see you again next time. Good night from New Jersey. Again, the final 8-6 Ironmen.